H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Holness government is not considering reintroducing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP.
This is despite calls from fiscal experts to do so.
Everett Warmington again demands a performance audit of the Integrity Commission.
I stated then that I cannot support any more funds being made available to this commission without some accountability, and I'm maintaining my position today.
BPO boss is confident recent fraud will not impact the sector.
Dancehall entertainer Squash is in the custody of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE.
In news from the rest of the world, Guyana police seize over $26 million in cash after intercepting illegal gold smuggling attempt.
Trump postpones tariffs on Mexico and Canada amid widespread fears of an economic fallout.
In headline sports, Mason Greenwood formally requests switch to Jamaica's national senior football team.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, a Jamaican BPO worker has been charged with stealing and reselling concert tickets, including tickets for global superstar Taylor Swift's Eras tour. What impact will this likely have on local businesses? The Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to 47 murders being recorded in February, the lowest monthly tally since 2000? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Finance Minister, Favour Williams, says the government is not contemplating reimposing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP. This is despite the calls from fiscal experts to do so.
Is the government contemplating reimposing a cap in terms of the wage to GDP?
It is not contemplated at this time.
You'll hear more from Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
And at 8, it's Jamaican Dads with Dennis Brooks, Garth Williams, Marlon Campbell, and Floyd Green.
We'll have all these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, March 6, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The government is not contemplating reimposing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP. This is despite calls from fiscal experts to do so. That's the word from the Minister of Finance, Favour Williams. The Minister was answering questions at Parliament's Standing Finance Committee today. Shalois Michael tells us more.
With wages and salaries already set to consume nearly 40% of the country's revenues by the next fiscal year, former chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, called for a cap to be reimposed. He fears if left unchecked, the public sector wage bill will crowd out other critical government spending.
Wages and salaries are already high and consuming approximately 45% of tax revenues. Wages and salaries, 40% of total revenues, right? So 12.8% of GDP and 45% of tax revenues are wages and salaries to the public sector. So this is something that we really need to pay close attention to, and we really need to look at this to see how we're able to manage and control and set targets for ourselves here as a country going forward.
A cap of 9% of gross domestic product GDP was previously imposed as part of the country's economic reform program. It was abandoned years after, having met the target in only one quarter. Government wages now stand at 13.3% of GDP. Answering questions from her opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson, Minister of Finance Favour Williams says the government is not contemplating its reimposition.
Up to 2 years ago, we had a cap, well, it may be more than 2, maybe 3 budget cycles ago. We lifted the cap, which was originally at 9%, and we had the compensation review. Is the government contemplating reimposing a cap in terms of the wage to GDP?
All right, member, to answer your question specifically, it is not contemplated at this time.
The government is heading into another round of wage negotiations with the public sector. Again, the former Epoch boss called for restraint on the part of civil servants in terms of their salary increase expectations. After further queries from Mr. Robinson, Minister Williams revealed they do not anticipate any further significant adjustments to the budget stemming from public sector wages in the upcoming fiscal year.
There's no anticipation then of any outside the norm public sector wage adjustment then. So the 10% roughly that you're projecting in personal income tax, you anticipate to get that from the normal growth in the economy. There's no anticipation of a wage adjustment that would take account of this or any outstanding salaries emoluments due to public sector workers.
Right, so the expectations with regards to any movement in wages would have been incorporated in those numbers.
So it is incorporated into those numbers?
Yes.
Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine Everald Warmington is again demanding a performance audit of the Integrity Commission. His newest call, came at Thursday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament. Mr. Warmington again stated his unwillingness to support further funding of the commission without an audit. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
In October last year, the JLP's Everald Warmington demanded that an audit of the Integrity Commission be completed before any further government funds are allocated for the institution. He made the demand to then Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke at a sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee. Mr. Warmington called into question an additional $200 million going towards the Commission's budget, inclusive of a sum for auditing. At Thursday's sitting of the committee, he again took issue with the nearly $2 billion in funding provided to the Commission for the upcoming fiscal year. According to him, it's unreasonable for such a sum to be provided without any assessment as to whether taxpayers are receiving value for money.
I see that this year the amount to the Integrity Commission is increased by $164 million, but yet I have not seen any auditing of that department or a financial report from the department. This year they're getting almost $2 billion, and that's taxpayer money, and there must be accountability. Just as it is required that these reports be laid in the House, I think this department also, our Commission, needs to have that laid in the House. They mentioned that in their report they have financial what have you. What they have, there was just financial statement, and that's not what is required. It's required that all agency, department, statutory, what have you, have audited report laid in this House. And I stated then that I cannot support any more funds being made available to this commission without some accountability, and I'm maintaining my position today.
Last year, Chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Seymour Panton, hit back at Mr. Warmington's call. He noted that its operations are audited yearly, with a financial statement attached to its annual report and tabled in Parliament. However, Mr. Warmington clarified that what he seeks is a performance audit to determine the effectiveness of the Commission, not a financial statement. At Thursday's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee, Finance Minister Favour Williams says funding has been provided to the Commission for accounting and auditing functions. She believes such an audit will be conducted, however, she's uncertain as to when it will be completed.
What we do know is that an audit was being pursued, and what we do know is that there have been allocations in budgets to provide for financial management and accounting services. As to exactly where that audit is, that is not information that I have at this moment.
When pressed by Mr. Warmington, Minister Williams also noted that an audit of the Auditor General's Department is soon to be presented to Parliament.
I'd like to ask what is status on the auditing of the Auditor General's Department. Was the most recent audit has been completed, and where are we generally in the auditing of that department? That's my first question. I have an next coming.
Member, my understanding is that the audit for 23-24, meaning fiscal year 23-24, has been completed.
When will we have it? Any idea?
Shortly, Member.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
President of the Global Services Association of Jamaica, Wayne Sinclair, says he doesn't believe the recent fraud scandal involving a BPO worker at Sutherland Global Services will harm the sector. 20-year-old Jamaican Tyrone Rose has been slapped with multiple charges after he was allegedly caught stealing and reselling concert tickets.
What I will say is that no one, including myself, is able or authorized to speak on Sutherland's behalf or the specifics of this case. Additionally, I do not really see this having any impact on our industry in and of itself. It is an unfortunate story, abnormally magnified because of the name Taylor Swift.
Rose and 31-year-old Shamara Simmons from Queens, New York, were arrested in connection with the fraud on February 27. They are charged with grand larceny in the 2nd degree, computer tampering in the 1st degree, conspiracy in the 4th degree, and computer tampering in the 4th degree. The investigations reveal that more than 900 concert tickets were defrauded. It rather raked in more than $600,000 in a year. Mr. Sinclair says despite the incident, the country's BPO sector maintains strong and healthy relationships with its international partners.
Our members have strong, solid, independent relationships with our clients. That's tested and fortified by frequent client visits to our locations here in Jamaica that entail rigorous inspections of our physical and IT security protocols and processes. The confidence that our collective client bases have in our service deliveries is grounded in these trusted personal relationships, and it is my belief that this trust will continue to position Jamaica as a destination of choice for BPO service buyers worldwide.
That's Wayne Sinclair, the president of the Global Services Association of Jamaica. Meanwhile, Mr. Sinclair says tougher legislation is needed to punish those who commit cyber theft.
And I also think it is important that we continue to strengthen the penalties for persons and perpetrators of these crimes. I think we need to ensure that we have the legislation in place that really can act as a real deterrent to people who may be thinking about doing this, because I think right now there's a sense that it's worth the risk, and we need to try everything that we can from a legislative standpoint to minimize or at least completely eradicate the tendency to want to get involved in these kinds of activities.
Wayne Sinclair.
Dancehall entertainer Squash is in the custody of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE. The entertainer, whose given name is Andre Maurice Whitaker, was taken into custody by immigration officials after he posted bail on Tuesday. William Mitchell reports.
Squash and co-accused Zidane George Prescott were arrested on Monday, February 24, and charged with gun possession and carrying a concealed weapon without a permit. Bond was set at US $500 for the concealed carry charge and US $2,500 for the possession charge. After being released from the custody of the Miami-Dade police, Squash was then detained by ICE officials who took him to the Chrome North Processing Center in Miami. Following his arrest, an immigration hold was placed on the St. James native, as police indicated he had no legal status in the U.S. Before his arrest, Squash was observed by an agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, interacting with a person they were observing. According to the arrest report, the FBI agent called local police after Squash was approached by the subject of their investigation. The report says Squash was standing outside the passenger door of a gray Mercedes-Benz motorcar at the time. The FBI witnessed what appeared to be the subject of their probe handing Squash a firearm, which Squash placed on his waistband before sitting in the car. Before the traffic stop which led to his arrest, the local police followed the car and witnessed the driver failing to come to a complete stop at a stop sign and making a left turn without signaling, prompting the police to signal the car to pull over. During a search of the vehicle, a modified Glock 19 pistol, commonly called a chip Glock, was found in the passenger side glove box. A Glock 35 40 caliber pistol with an extension clip was found on the driver's side, and 3 loaded magazines were found in the car. The driver, Prescott, was found to be operating the vehicle with a suspended license. Police records indicate Squash is already before the immigration court on a separate matter. William Mitchell for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
15 minutes after 5.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO. IPO with Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
Continuing the news, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says a new special education policy will be implemented this year. She says strengthening of teacher training will be one of the main areas focused in this policy.
This year, we will begin to take some bold steps towards strengthening special education, aligning our efforts with a new special education policy. And I have to thank the Honorable Favour Williams, who's my predecessor, for driving the development of this special needs policy. The policy-making process in Jamaica is long and tedious, but finally, we do have a new special needs policy. And in terms of what's in there, it's grounded in access, equity, and relevance. It's designed to ensure early identification and intervention. It focuses on strengthening teacher training to equip educators with inclusive teaching skills.
Minister Morris-Dixon was addressing a special education seminar at the Shortwood Teachers College on Thursday. She told the gathering that more needs to be done to facilitate diagnostic intervention.
This huge gap we have in Jamaica in identification of children with special needs highlights the urgent need for more robust diagnostic intervention and support systems in our education sector. Yes, we have established 2 diagnostic centers which provide early assessments and interventions for children who need them most. These 2 are not enough. And too many of our teachers lack the training and support to manage these diverse classrooms effectively. These realities are what we must change.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Minister of Education.
The Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the government plans to expand services by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, the JUTC, outside of the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region. Minister Vaz says these services will involve new routes to rural parishes.
Since the inception of the newest service routes, the JUTC has recorded a total of 115,142 passengers transported, averaging 2,561 passengers daily across the new 14 routes. The JUTC is also seeking to expand services to new and premium routes, including Route 311 to Catherine Estates, Mandeville to Maypen, Montego Bay to Lucy and Negril, and that will happen out of the Montego Bay depot. These expansions are important to meet the growing demand for public transportation and improving connectivity across the island, especially with the infrastructure that this government is putting in terms of road networks.
Darrell Vaz, the Transport Minister.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The world in a minute.
The Guyana police seized over $26 million in cash after intercepting an illegal gold smuggling attempt involving 2 Brazilians. Officers attached to Guyana's Special Organized Crime Unit say the seizure occurred during a major operation on Wednesday. The unit also seized a large quantity of gold. 2 Brazilian nationals, a 42-year-old male and a 39-year-old female, were arrested. The police say the 2 are assisting with investigations. According to the head of the unit, officers were able to disrupt the smuggling operation before the gold could be moved across the border. The latest crackdown follows a similar incident in July last year when officials intercepted an illegal gold smuggling ring, which led to the arrest of 3 Chinese nationals. In that incident, 2 searches resulted in the discovery of over $50 million Guyanese dollars in cash, money counting machines, and a firearm.
U.S. President Donald Trump today postponed the 25% tariffs on most goods from Mexico and Canada for a month amid widespread fears of the economic fallout from a broader trade war. Trump's announcement comes after his Commerce Secretary said tariffs on both Canada and Mexico would likely be delayed. It's the second time the president has postponed tariffs since he first unveiled the import taxes in early February. The reprieve would apply to goods from Mexico and Canada that are compliant with the trade agreement Trump negotiated with the 2 countries in his first term. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says a recent call with Trump was colorful, adding that Canada would continue to be in a trade war for the foreseeable future. The Commerce Secretary says reciprocal tariffs will still be implemented come April 2.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. The Holness government is not considering reintroducing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP.
This is despite calls from fiscal experts to do so.
Everald Warmington again demands a performance audit of the Integrity Commission.
BPO boss is confident recent fraud will not impact sector.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former Manchester United striker Mason Greenwood is one step closer to becoming a reggae boy after formally putting in a request to switch allegiance from England to Jamaica. A report in The Athletic, a leading US newspaper, says Chief Executive of the Football Association in England, Mark Bullingham, has confirmed that Greenwood made the request. Greenwood has played one senior international game for England, this against Ireland in September of 2020. However, he is allowed to change his representation because he was under 21 years old at the time he played in Reykjavik. The Athletic reported that the process to switch allegiance started last August. Greenwood has been repeatedly overlooked for England despite having charges of attempted rape, assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and controlling and coercive behavior dropped 3 years ago. Thomas Tuchel will name his first England squad next week ahead of the World Cup qualifiers against Albania March 21 and Latvia March 24 at Wembley Stadium. The striker, now playing for Olympique Marseille in France after leaving Manchester United for an initial fee of over 27.6 million euros in the summer, has scored 15 goals in 24 appearances so far this season. Asked whether Greenwood requested to play for Jamaica because it was indicated to him that he would no longer be considered for England, Bullingham said no one from the FA had any such conversation or communication with the player. However, President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, says he's not surprised by the recent development.
Well, that is no new news. We are in an advanced stage of having this documentation, but we're still waiting on a document to be signed. Nothing has changed in that regard. So we're waiting on, I think, his mom to sign a document. Once that is done, then we're good to go. So we're still waiting on that.
President of the JFF, Michael Ricketts, speaking to Nationwide Sports a short time ago. Technical Director of Cavalier, Rudolph Speed, admits he's concerned that his players may be a bit starstruck when they take on Inter Miami in the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup tie at Chase Stadium this evening, 8 o'clock Jamaica time. Inter Miami, their squad boasts 8-time Ballon d'Or winner and Argentine World Cup winning captain Leo Messi, the Uruguayan starman Luis Suarez, nicknamed El Pistolero, and Sergio Busquets, defender for the 2010 World Cup champion Spain. Speed says his young squad grew up idolizing and emulating some of these players,
It's something that is in the back of our mind. It's possible that it could happen. I mean, they're human, and sometimes you have to wonder if Messi is human based on the things that he has achieved so far in his career. So, Suarez is not far behind. Alba, Busquets, these are players that, players grew up just seeing parading their stuff across the world. So they are saying no, but there's a possibility that it could happen.
And Speed says there are mental techniques that they're using to prevent the players from being overwhelmed by the thought of playing against such global superstars.
We have techniques that we use. One of the things is to try and normalize the Inter Miami team as much as possible. Watch them a lot, speak about their abilities a lot, try to get the team to believe that they can somehow counter whatever they are, they are going to come with. So there are some techniques that they can use to help. Whether it works or not, then that's a different thing.
Rudolph Speed. The Jamaica Scorpions were today bowled out for 44 against the Guyana Harpy Eagles on day 2 of the West Indies Regional Championship encounter at Sabina Park. The top score for the Scorpions was 5 runs the top score, and it came from Javel Glenn. The second top score, 4 by Brandon King and Odin Smith. Extras contributed 17 runs to the Jamaica total. Ronaldo Ali Mohammed grabbed 6 for 17 and Nal Smith 4 for 21. The Harpy Eagles, who batted first and posted 339 all-out, refused to enforce the follow-on, and they closed on 61 for 1. Still much more than the 44 that Jamaica made, yeah? And they now enjoy a lead of 356 with 2 days to play. Cavian Anderson, who had retired hurt on 100, returned to add 10 to that score. He made 110, while Matthew Nandu made 61 and Kemal Savory 48. Odin Smith took 5 wickets for the Scorpions, while Tamari Redwood, the young boy from Excelsior, and Marquino Mindley picked up 2 each. Over at the Darren Sammy Stadium in Groselay, the Windward Islands Volcanoes were largely in charge of their game against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. At close, the Hurricanes reached 165 for 7, with West Indies player Mikhail Louis unbeaten on 82, and Jammer Hamilton making 40 against 4 wickets from Gilon Tyson 4 for 31 and Ryan John 3 for 26. The Volcanoes had earlier posted 480 all-out, this on the back of centuries from Shadrach Descartes 119 and Ryan John 109. O'Shane Thomas bagged 4 for 66 and Justin Greaves 3 for 102. Over at Coolidge, the West Indies Academy, they closed on 162 for 5, and they replied to Trinidad and Tobago West Forces 304 all-out. A second century of the season from Joshua Da Silva, 120, led the way, with Carrie Pear getting 42. Johan Lane took 5 for 56. And at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados, the combined campuses were bowled out for 262, and following on, they reached 2 for 1 after Barbados Pride posted 428 all out and refused to enforce the follow-on. Daniel Evelyn slammed 110 in the CCC's first innings, and Karen Powell, 45 against 5 for 70 from Ruston Chase, who also led the Pride batting with 122. And finally, in sports at this time, coaches from the Caribbean islands, Bahamas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Cayman Islands, as well as host country Jamaica, will begin an intense 3-day squash coaching course starting tomorrow. Yeah? The initiative was organized in order to upscale and increase the number of certified squash coaches in the region. The course, which will be conducted under the banner of the World Squash Federation, will cover the theory and practical sessions at Ligonier Club in New Kingston. Experienced head squash pro Colin White will be the facilitator for the course. White is a WSF and European Squash Federation Level 1, 2 and 3 certified coach and tutor for many years. He has taught and coached the game of squash in many countries, including the US, Australia, Hungary and Russia. And you'll be hearing from the Squash Association President, Karen Anderson, when we come back for a major sportscast at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, now left with. It's a big deal. Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Looking for unique furnishings for your home or apartment? Modern Woodcraft offers custom-built pieces for your bedroom, living and dining room, and entrance tables. Choose your preferred color or supply your own fabric for a personalized touch. We also build custom kitchen and bathroom cupboards as well as house doors. Visit us at our new location, 88 Malines Road, Kingston 10, opposite Sundown Crescent. Call 876-620-7460 or 876-565-2162. Modern Woodcraft, making your home look better for less.
Hello from the Coveside Concert Series. We have another combo for you. 2 tickets, 1 show, only 20,000 JMD. Timeless with Dionne Warwick and Friends and Steady Rock with Leroy Sibbles, Itana, Glenn Washington and Cornell Campbell. Tickets are at Fesca, Fontana Pharmacy and Plantation Smokehouse or online at coveside.aitix.com. Buy 1 ticket, attend both shows. March 29, Timeless, Steady Rock, April 26, a part of the Coveside Concert Series.
Celebrate World Energy Efficiency Day with Nationwide 90 FM on March 6 and 7. Join us as we explore simple ways to save energy, reduce costs, and protect your planet during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6. Then Nationwide this morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7. We've got insights and practical advice that can and will help you make a difference. From businesses to households, everyone plays a part in building a sustainable future. When you save money on your energy bill, you also save the planet. Save money, save power, save the future. That's World Energy Efficiency Day during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6th, then Nationwide this morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7th. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Brought to you by the National Land Agency, to Jamaica Public Service and Power Grid Electrical Limited.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation. by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honourable Favour Williams. On Tuesday, March 11, the Honourable Favour Williams will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2025 to 2026. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister the Honourable Favour Williams' opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 11 from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 11.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy. Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5 on this lovely Thursday afternoon. Yeah? Yes, Dana, that's exactly why. It's a Thursday afternoon. It's a Thursday afternoon in which I'm feeling particularly happy. It's time for the cover story. Hello, Sanjay.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am good. As you say, it's a Thursday evening, which means tomorrow is Friday and it's the weekend off.
All right, so we're going to turn our attention now to serious matters. BPO fraud and its impact. A Jamaican BPO worker has been charged with stealing and reselling concert tickets, including tickets to Taylor Swift's concert. Yeah, those are pretty expensive, you know. This was disclosed in a statement by District Attorney in Queens, New York. Mahiri Stewart has the report.
In her March 3 statement, District Attorney Katz said 2 individuals were arrested and arraigned for their role in the cybercrime theft of more than 900 concert tickets. She says the majority of those tickets were for Taylor Swift's Eras tour. 20-year-old Tyrone Rose from Kingston, Jamaica, and 31-year-old Shamara P. Simmons of 224th Street in Jamaica, Queens, were arrested in connection with the fraud on February 27. They were subsequently charged with grand larceny in the 2nd degree, computer tampering in the 1st degree, conspiracy in the 4th degree, and computer tampering in the 4th degree. Reports are between June 2022 and July 2023, approximately 350 StubHub orders resulting in approximately 993 tickets were intercepted by 2 individuals working for a third-party contractor in Kingston, Jamaica called Sutherland Global Services. StubHub, an online ticket sales platform, had reportedly contracted Sutherland Global Services. The Sutherland employees, defendant Tyrone Rose and an accomplice, allegedly used their access to StubHub's computer system to find a backdoor into a secure area of the network where already sold tickets were given a URL and queued to be emailed to the purchaser to download. Rose and his co-conspirator redirected the URLs to the emails of the co-conspirators Shamara Simmons in Queens and a now-deceased accomplice who also lived in Queens. The co-conspirators downloaded the tickets from the rerouted URL, then posted the tickets to StubHub and resold them for profit. District Attorney Katz says they raked in more than $600,000 over the course of 1 year. Rose and Simmons are due in court on March 7. They each face a potential maximum sentence of 3 to 15 years in prison. Meanwhile, StubHub's chief legal officer, Mark Streams, said that once the company had spotted the scheme, it reported it to Sutherland Global Services, District Attorney Katz's office, and law enforcement in Jamaica. He says StubHub has ended its relationship with Sutherland Global Services. In the meantime, District Attorney Katz says the takedown highlights the vigilance of her office's cybercrime and cryptocurrency unit, as well as the importance of working with industry partners to combat fraudulent activities and ensure the protection of consumers. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
And in the meantime, President of the Global Services Association of Jamaica, Wayne Sinclair, says he doesn't believe the incident will harm the sector.
What I will say is that no one, including myself, is able or authorized to speak on Sutherland's behalf or the specifics of this case. Additionally, I do not really see this having any impact on our industry in and of itself. It is an unfortunate story, abnormally magnified because of the name Taylor Swift.
Mr. Sinclair is saying that despite the incident, the country's BPO sector maintains strong and healthy relationships with international partners.
Our members have strong, solid, independent relationships with our clients. That's tested and fortified by frequent client visits to our locations here in Jamaica that entail rigorous inspections of our physical and IT security protocols and processes. The confidence that our collective client bases have in our service deliveries is grounded in these trusted personal relationships, and it is my belief that this trust will continue to position Jamaica as a destination of choice for BPO service buyers worldwide.
Meanwhile, Mr. Sinclair says by continuing to maintain the harshness of the punishments of those that commit fraud, it will deter anyone else from attempting it in the future.
And I also think it is important that we continue to strengthen the penalties for persons and perpetrators of these crimes. I think we need to ensure that we have the legislation in place that really can act as a real deterrent to people who may be thinking about doing this, because I think right now there's a sense that it's worth the risk, and we need to try everything that we can from a legislative standpoint to minimize or at least completely eradicate the tendency to want to get involved in these kinds of activities.
That's Wayne Sinclair, the president of Global Services Association of Jamaica. Joining us now to discuss further is the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill. Good afternoon, Minister.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Considering who Taylor Swift is, the high-profile nature of that concert,
we all do, don't we?
Right, and the publicity that would bring, how concerned are you about the impact this could have on the BPO sector in Jamaica?
I'm always concerned when there is illegal behavior that affects any client that works with Jamaica, whether it's a local client or an overseas client. Clearly, with Taylor Swift, you have a magnification of multiple times. So that takes on a whole different issue. However, in this business, and when you're dealing with the internet and online business, there's always that risk. It will clearly, the headline will draw some attention, but these BPO relationships, as President Sinclair just said, are forged over a long period of time. They know and they come and check regularly, and there are some incidents that will happen. It will happen if you have a physical store, never mind an online business. So we expect that we want to move very quickly to fix the case. This has been going on, though, since 2022. So it's quite some time. It's now sub judice in the courts, because it's in the courts in New York, and Sutherland will say nothing about it because it's clearly in the courts, and they wouldn't want to prejudice the case either way. So they're not speaking. I've been on this since yesterday when it seemed to have hit the press again, and they're very careful about not making any statement at this time. But of course, as soon as we get one, we would be that we can share, we will do it. We need, though, as Mr. Sinclair said, since we're in this business, to make sure we're taking all the steps as much as we possibly can to reduce the incidence of theft or fraud, or both. And I know the Ministry of National Security is very much aware of what we are. We have a new police commissioner who is very, very IT savvy and he understands the risks that are involved here. So we are, as a country, doing our utmost best with a stronger and stronger police force to make sure we reduce these incidents and opportunities for people to carry on theft and or fraud.
From a government standpoint, Minister, are there plans to have any discussions with Sutherland Global or the other major BPO companies just to ensure that their cybersecurity measures meet international standards?
Well, we have started those discussions already. In fact, those discussions go on quite regularly, more importantly, because they're international firms. They are doing their best to make sure that their cybersecurity arrangements are the strongest, because they're asking people from all parts of the world to trust them. And so they have an inherent responsibility and desire to make sure they have the strongest system. But incidents are going to happen. There's a lot of money involved in some of these transactions, and we want to make sure that we have enough disincentive in our cybersecurity arrangements so that people feel that if they want to do cybersecurity crime, they should probably go somewhere else. It's always a work in progress because the technology is always changing, and people on both sides of the law, the good side of the law and the bad side of the law, are getting smarter by the day.
Hold it there for us. We're up on a break, talking with the Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister, Senator Aubin Hill.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
15 minutes to 6.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot. It's a big deal.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hello from the Coveside Concert Series. We have another combo for you. 2 tickets, 1 show, only 20,000 JMD. Time less with Ian Warwick and Friends and Steady Rock with Leroy Sibley's, Itana, Glenn Washington and Cornell Campbell. Tickets are at Fesco, Fontana Pharmacy and Plantation Smokehouse or online at coveside.aitix.com. Buy 1 ticket, attend both shows March 29, Timeless, Steady Rock, April 26. A part of the Coveside Concert Series.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5, discussing this recent matter of fraud detected in affecting the BPO sector in Jamaica. Minister Hill, your ministry, we call it the business ministry, so a lot of that obviously has to do with reputation management. When issues like these arise, how do you ensure that the brand Jamaica as a business destination is not unduly damaged?
The first thing you have to do is make sure, it's Ricardo, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Ricardo, the first thing you have to do is to make sure you are as transparent as you can possibly be. You go forward and you say, this is what I know and this is what I can tell you at this time. There are certain things that I can't tell you because they're in the courts and I'm prohibited by law to tell you if that's the case. In the meantime, you go as well and you talk to the players in the field. I'll be talking to them again. We talked just last week. I was with a whole group of them at a launch, and because this has come forward again, it's not new, but because it's now topical again, we will have to meet and say, what is going on here, and how do we get around this? I know, for instance, that in the recent past, Sutherland has rearranged and reorganized its management structure. They have made certain changes which are still being clarified to us, and that may have been a result of some of this. We're going to check and find out. But they still have, 7,000 plus employees here in Jamaica. Sutherland has been here for a long time, and we would expect that in order to keep the brand clean and safe, that we discuss this among ourselves Sutherland, what do you know? You can tell your other colleagues that they should be aware of to avoid this kind of stuff. I remember now everybody does a different business. Some of the BPOs do entertainment, back office processing. Some do health. Some do retail, and it's a whole plethora, a whole group of activities, business activities that these BPO companies do. So each one will have an experience to share. That experience might affect some and not others. But in the discussion, and because they're in the online business, information and knowledge is shared, and you want to do that as quickly and as fast as you can to wipe out any crookedness that is always hovering at the door.
Minister, during the height of the lottery scam, strict security measures were implemented in the BPO sector to protect customers. Could it be that the sector has become more relaxed and its safeguards have become relaxed now that the lottery scamming appears to be under greater control?
My guess is that when you have a Bitcoin loss of $1.3 trillion announced in the world, no entity that is of an international nature that does online business is going to relax its cybersecurity. You know that the criminals are never sleeping, and very often are sometimes ahead of your business. So you have to be really, really vigilant. So no, I wouldn't believe that that's the case at all. There is no letting up when you're in the online website business or whichever kind of business you're in that uses digital transmission, that you're going to let down your guard. You just simply cannot. The banks don't. The banks have to constantly spend money to upgrade and never let down, and that's the case. Same thing for the BPO.
I want to turn your attention now, Minister, to what's happening overseas, our neighbors, the United States, Canada, Mexico, and I know you've been paying attention to it. These threats of tariffs, how concerned are you as the Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister about the impact they could have on the Jamaican economy?
What happens in business, Ricardo, is anytime you have uncertainty is what businesses dislike most. Uncertainty is where a lot of people make a lot of money. If you're in, for instance, the foreign exchange business, if you have an absolutely stable currency, you never make money. You make money when things are somewhat more volatile. You have to be able to bet and guess what's going to happen tomorrow, or is the currency going to go up? Is it going to go down? But you have to have a measure of volatility. What has been added to the world trading system is a substantially higher level of volatility and uncertainty. That causes people to be very concerned. In time, these things tend to work themselves out. You're dealing with what we have to recognize is you're dealing with the biggest economy in the world. And when different people manage power differently, and we have to very often make adjustments when an administration changes. And that's the reality. This one is, as I said, somewhat more dramatic than normally happens in the past. But, that's the reality. How do you adjust? What we see is that, the targets are stated, not seem. I mean, President Trump makes it very clear. If you have a very strong, positive trade balance against me, in other words, I have a negative, I mean the United States have a strong negative trade balance with you, we're going to look at it. And especially if you have tariffs that you've been charging me for decades that are much higher than I charge you, I'm going to look at it. If you are sending or responsible for getting drugs that kill hundreds of thousands of my people, I'm going to look at it. On those two main targets, Jamaica is way below the radar. First of all, the United States has a very strong and large positive trade balance with us. We import a lot more from them than we sell. and we certainly don't, thank heavens, not involved in the fentanyl drug business or similar drug business. So we're not in that target range. That doesn't mean we don't have to be aware, but what we can do is find that there are opportunities. I see somebody sent me, interestingly, this is kind of apocryphal, but it's true. Somebody sent me a WhatsApp message yesterday that showed a great deal of Jamaican and other Caribbean rums on Canadian shelves.
Yes, I saw that.
You probably have seen, you've seen it as well, because American liquor is not being imported because of the tariff arrangements that's going on between Canada and the United States.
And so, how does your ministry? Ensure that Jamaicans benefit from those opportunities?
What you want to do is obviously clearly get the information out, share what I just shared with you. Also remember that when I run the bank, when I run banks, whether in Jamaica or elsewhere, there is no way the authorities can keep abreast of what I'm doing as I change my products and services. They can't. I'm sharper. I am the one making the market, and generally the regulators are following. So the business people are very aware of what's going on. If you're in the rum selling business, man, and you hear that bourbon is not coming from Kentucky, you're quickly calling your Canadian people. So we are watching that. We're making sure, and people have the information, and we're encouraging people to look for opportunities without causing any offense in the process. And therefore, we become a super exporter to other places that might now have an issue. So we look for that.
But fair to say, on the matter of the immediate impact of the tariffs, you don't foresee any immediate negative impacts?
No, because we're not of the size of a trading partner with the United States. We're really infinitesimally small in terms of the trade with the United States, how it affects the United States trade balance, and clearly they have a very strong positive trade balance with us. We have a strong negative trade balance with the United States. We don't send fentanyl. Our trade is too small. We're not the target, but we must be absolutely aware and nimble and look for opportunities in all this discussion. When the elephants fight, we find new, quiet niches to make our living and go ahead with our business.
If I can just tag on to that question, Minister Ricardo just put to you, do you think that the higher tariffs it could affect foreign direct investments from U.S. and Canadian businesses that operate in Jamaica?
Again, we are looking for a lot more foreign direct investment. Clearly, if Jamaica has a negative trade balance with the United States, we are an ideal place to put your investment, because clearly we have exporting room. So we'll be inviting people to look at us. In the case of Canadian investment, Canadian investors will have to decide if they're going to invest in the United States to avoid tariff or not. They will make that decision. United States investors will look at where they can invest and make money. We have to make sure we are an attractive enough destination in terms of the workforce that we have, the broadband facilities that the quality of our broadband, the land that we have to offer, and frankly, the nice place to come and work and live. So we have to continue to make ourselves an attractive investment destination, recognizing that while we're not the target, there might be opportunities for us, and we have to be careful, because you never know. It's a very uncertain world.
Senator Aubin Hill is the country's Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Thank you so much for your time as always, Minister. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, though, as the Minister said, it's important to continue to watch the volatility, because tariffs on today, now they're delayed again. So,
the level of uncertainty, Ricardo, it feels like it's a game that is being played by the President of the United States.
He's determined to exact his pound of flesh, and where he thinks he's making progress, then he says we'll delay it. So it seems to be a big stick policy until he gets what he wants. So let's see. That's the cover story, the headlines.
Cover story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. The government is not contemplating reimposing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP, despite calls from fiscal experts to do so. That's the word from Finance Minister Favour Williams. She was responding to a question from our opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson.
Up to 2 years ago, we had a cap, it may be more than 2, maybe 3 budget cycles ago. We lifted the cap, which was originally at 9%, and we had the compensation review. Is the government contemplating reimposing a cap in terms of the wage to GDP?
All right, member, to answer your question specifically, it is not contemplated at this time.
A cap of 9% of GDP was previously imposed as part of the country's economic reform program. It was abandoned years after having met the target in only 1 quarter. Minister Williams says the government does not anticipate any further significant adjustments to the budget stemming from public sector wages in the upcoming fiscal year.
There's no anticipation then of any outside the norm public sector wage adjustment then. So the 10% roughly that you're projecting in personal income tax, you anticipate to get that from the normal growth in the economy. There's no anticipation of a wage adjustment that would take account of this or any outstanding salaries emoluments due to public sector workers.
Right, so the expectations with regards to any movement in wages would have been incorporated in those numbers.
So it is incorporated into those numbers?
Yes.
Favour Williams, and before her, Julian Robinson. Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine, Everald Warmington, is again demanding a performance audit of the Integrity Commission. His latest call came at Thursday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament.
I see that this year the amount to the Integrity Commission is increased by 164 million, but yet I have not seen any auditing of that department or a financial report from the department. This year they're getting almost $2 billion, and that's taxpayer money, and there must be accountability. Just as it is required that these reports be laid in the House, I think this department also, our commission, needs to have that laid in the House. They mentioned that in their report they have financial what have you. What they have, there was just financial statement, and that's not what is required. It's required that all agency, department, statutory, what have you, have audited report laid in this House. And I stated then that I cannot support any more funds being made available to this commission without some accountability, and I'm maintaining my position today.
When pressed by Mr. Warmington, Finance Minister Favour Williams noted that an audit of the Auditor General's Department is soon to be presented to Parliament.
I'd like to ask what is the status on the auditing of the Auditor General's Department? When the most recent audit has been completed, and where are we generally in the auditing of that department? That's my first question. I have a next coming.
Member, my understanding is that the audit for 23-24, meaning fiscal year 23-24, has been completed.
When will we have it? Any idea?
Shortly, member.
Favour Williams, and before her, Everald Warmington. President of the Global Services Association of Jamaica, Wayne Sinclair, says he doesn't believe the recent fraud scandal involving a BPO worker at Sutherland Global Services will harm the sector.
What I will say is that no one, including myself, is able or authorized to speak on Sutherland's behalf or the specifics of this case. Additionally, I do not really see this having any impact on our industry in and of itself. It is an unfortunate story, abnormally magnified because of the name Taylor Swift.
20-year-old Jamaican Tyrone Rose has been slapped with multiple charges after he was allegedly caught stealing and reselling concert tickets. Rose and 31-year-old Shamara P. Simmons from Queens, New York, were arrested in connection with the fraud on February 27. Mr. Sinclair says despite the incident, the country's BPO sector maintains strong and healthy relationships with its international partners.
Our members have strong, solid, independent relationships with our clients. That's tested and fortified by frequent client visits to our locations here in Jamaica that entail rigorous inspections of our physical and IT security protocols and processes. The confidence that our collective client bases have in our service deliveries is grounded in these trusted personal relationships, and it is my belief that this trust will continue to position Jamaica as a destination of choice for BPO service buyers worldwide.
Wayne Sinclair, President of the Global Services Association of Jamaica. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says a new special education policy will be implemented this year. She says the strengthening of teacher training will be one of the main areas of the focus in this policy.
This year, we will begin to take some bold steps towards strengthening special education, aligning our efforts with a new special education policy. And I have to thank the Honorable Favour Williams, who's my predecessor, for driving the development of this special needs policy. The policy-making process in Jamaica is long and tedious, but finally, we do have a new special needs policy. And in terms of what's in there, it's grounded in access, equity, and relevance. It's designed to ensure early identification and intervention. It focuses on strengthening teacher training to equip educators with inclusive teaching skills.
Minister Morris-Dixon was addressing a special education seminar at the Shortwood Teachers College on Thursday. She told the gathering that more needs to be done to facilitate diagnostic intervention.
This huge gap we have in Jamaica in identification of children with special needs highlights the urgent need for more robust diagnostic intervention and support systems in our education sector. Yes, we have established 2 diagnostic centers which provide early assessments and interventions for children who need them most. These 2 are not enough. And too many of our teachers lack the training and support to manage these diverse classrooms effectively. These realities are what we must change.
Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Minister of Education. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Sports is next.
Hello from the Coveside Concert Series. We have another combo for you. 2 tickets, 1 show, only 20,000 JMD. Time less with Ian Warwick and Friends and Steady Rock with Leroy Sibbles, Itana, Glenn Washington, and Cornell Campbell. Tickets are at Fesca, Fontana Pharmacy, and Plantation Smokehouse, or online at coveside.aitix.com. Buy 1 ticket, attend both shows. March 29, Timeless, Steady Rock, April 26. A part of the Coveside Concert Series.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for, and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO.
I-P-O.
With Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swiby. We kick things off with some football as former Manchester United striker Mason Greenwood is one step closer to becoming a reggae boy after formally putting in a request to switch allegiance. A report in The Athletic, a leading US-based newspaper, says Chief Executive of the Football Association in England, Mark Bullingham, confirmed Greenwood's request. Greenwood has played one senior international game for England against Iceland in September 2020. However, he's allowed to change his representation because he was under 21 years old at the time he played against Iceland. The Athletic reported that the process to switch allegiance started last August. Greenwood has been repeatedly overlooked for England despite having charges of attempted rape, assault occasioning bodily harm, and controlling and coercive behavior dropped 3 years ago. Thomas Tuchel will name his first England squad next week ahead of the World Cup qualifiers against Albania March 21 and Latvia March 24 at Wembley. The striker, now playing for Marseille after leaving Manchester United for an initial fee of over €27 million in the summer, has scored 15 goals in 24 matches this season. Asked whether Greenwood requested to play for Jamaica because it was indicated to him that he would no longer be considered for England, Bullingham said no one from the FA had any such conversation or communication with the player. However, President of the JFF, Michael Ricketts, says he's not surprised by this recent development.
Well, that is no new news. We are in an advanced stage of having this documentation, but we're still waiting on a document to be signed. Nothing has changed in that regard. So we're waiting on, I think, his mom to sign a document. Once that is done, then we're good to go. So we're still waiting on that.
Michael Ricketts. Mount Pleasant Academy has opened an 11-point lead in the Rare Never Jamaica Premier League after beating Waterhouse 1-0 at Draxall this afternoon. Daniel Green scored the winner just 2 minutes into the game to steer the St. Anne-based club to 65 points, well ahead of second-place Arnett Gardens, who play later tonight against Chapelton Maroons at the Tony Spalding Complex. Humble Lion move off the foot off the table with a 3-2 victory over Tivoli Gardens at Effortville. Stephen Barnett bagged a brace and Afiba Chambers the other as Humble Lion moved to 21 points, 2 above Vere United, who are bottom of the table. At the moment, Racing United lead Dunbeholden 1-0 in the first game of the Tony Spalding doubleheader. Racing can take over 6th place in the standings with a big win tonight, while Montego Bay United host Harbourview at Catherine Hall later tonight. Technical Director of Cavalier Rudolph Speed admits he's concerned that his players may be a bit starstruck when they take on Inter Miami in the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup tie at the Chase Stadium this evening at 8. Inter Miami's squad include 8-time Ballon d'Or winner and Argentine captain Lionel Messi, Uruguayan forward Luis Suarez, nicknamed El Pistolero, and Sergio Busquets, defender for 2010 World Cup champions Spain. Speed says his young squad grew up idolizing and emulating some of these players.
It's something that is in the back of our mind. It's possible that it could happen. I mean, they are human, and sometimes you have to wonder if Messi is human based on the things that he has achieved so far in his career. So, Suarez is not far behind. Alba, Busquets, these are players that, players grew up just seeing parading their stuff across the world. So they are saying no, but there's a possibility that it could happen.
He says there are mental techniques that they are using to prevent his players from being overwhelmed by the thought of playing against such global stars.
We have techniques that we use. One of the things is to try and normalize the Inter Miami team as much as possible. Watch them a lot, speak about their abilities a lot, try to get the team to believe that they can somehow counter whatever they are, they're going to come with. So there are some techniques that they can use to help. Whether it works or not, then that's a different thing.
Rudolph Speed. Now to cricket, as the Jamaica Scorpions were today bowled out for 44 against the Guyana Harpy Eagles on day 2 of their West Indies Regional Championships encounter at Sabina Park. The top score for the Scorpions was 5 from Javel Glenn. The second top score was 4 by Brandon King and Dean Smith. Extras contributed 17 runs to the Jamaica total as Ronaldo Ali Mohammed grabbed 6 for 17 and Neil Smith 4 for 21. The Harpy Eagles, who batted first and posted 339 all-out, refused to enforce the follow-on and closed on 6-1 for 1, a lead of 356 with 2 days to play. Kevion Anderson, who had retired Hurd on 100, returned to make 110, while Matthew Nandu made 6-1 and Kemal Savory 48. Odin Smith took 5 wickets for the Scorpions, while Tamari Redwood and Markina Minley picked up 2 each. Over at the Darren Shammy Stadium, Windward Islands Volcanoes were largely in charge of their game against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. At close, the Hurricanes reached 165 for 7, with West Indies player Michael Lewis unbeaten on 82 and Jamar Hamilton making 40 against 4 wickets from Gillian Tyson 4 for 31 and Ryan John 3 for 26. The Volcanoes had earlier posted 480 all-out on the back of centuries from Shadrach Descartes 119 and Ryan John 109. O'Shane Thomas took 4 for 66 and Justin Greaves 3 for 102. At Coolidge, the West Indies Academy closed on 162 for 5, replying to Trinidad and Tobago Red Forces 304 all-out. A second century of the season from Joshua De Silva 120 led the way, with Carrie Pierre getting 42. Joan Lane took 5 for 56. At Kensington Oval, the combined campuses were bowled out for 262 and following on reached 2 for 1 after Barbados Prize posted 428 all out. Damel Evelyn slammed 110 in the CCC's first innings and Kieran Powell 45 against 5 for 70 from Ruston Chase, who also led the Pride batting with 122. The rebranded JCA Michael Holden Senior Cup, sponsored by Stewart Automotive, bowls off on March 15. The tournament will feature 24 teams from 13 parishes. President of the JCA, Dr. Donovan Bennett, says they will be very tough and indisciplined.
This is going to be serious business this year. Some of the things that happened in our premier competition in years gone by will not be allowed to happen. For example, players starting the game and then not turning up the next game, teams turning out short. That is not going to be tolerated. I just want you all to know that if that happens going forward, then the board will have no option but to take some very strong action.
Dr. Bennett charged the players to uphold the honor of the man in whose name the competition has been named.
Not only was he a great player, he was also a very strict disciplinarian, a very principled person. He subsequently became a top cricket commentator. I know Michael very well, and I know that him giving his permission to use his name in this competition comes with certain responsibilities. So we will have to run a seamless competition. We expect the best out of the players, both performance-wise and discipline-wise, because I know Michael would not want to know that he has lent his name to any competition that any player brings into disrepute.
Meanwhile, Holden is hoping the rebranding will return the tournament to its former glory.
We drew large crowds. I'm hoping that this Senior Cup going forward will continue to grow large crowds, will continue to produce some top-class cricketers to represent Jamaica. We need a Senior Cup that is vibrant. We need a Senior Cup that is well supported by the fans and by sponsors, and let's hope we can look forward to that now.
Michael Holden. Now to squash, as coaches from the Caribbean islands of the Bahamas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Cayman Islands, as well as host country Jamaica, will begin an intense 3-day squash coaching course tomorrow. The initiative was organized in order to upskill and increase the number of certified coaches in the region. The course will be conducted under the banner of the World Squash Federation, will cover theory and practical sessions at the Ligani Club, New Kingston. Experienced head squash pro Colin White will be the facilitator for the course. White is a WSF and European Squash Federation Level 1, 2 and 3 certified coach and tutor for many years. He has taught and coached the game of squash in many countries, including the USA, Australia, Hungary and Russia. President of the Jamaica Squash Association, Karen Anderson, welcomed the course.
One of the reasons we're having the World Squash Federation Level 1 coaching course is there was quite a bit of demand for it. Persons had been doing some informal coaching and wanted to standardize and regularize their coaching practices and really get the information, the proper information as to how to coach, what to look for, and how to coach properly and proper techniques. And so there was this clamoring for asking us for how we could get this coaching course done.
Karen Anderson. Now to basketball, as Manchester High are the rural area under-16 and under-19 ISA schoolboy basketball champions after beating Herbert Morrison in both competitions. In the junior competition, Manchester beat Herbert Morrison 48-27 in Game 2 to take the best-of-3 final 2-0. Manchester's Delaney Ricketts led the scoring with 19 points and 13 rebounds. In the senior section, best-of-3 final, Manchester beat Herbert Morrison 43-28 in Game 2. Oral Daly scored 14 points and 11 rebounds, while Sharon Bogle scored 11 points. And finally, in Taekwondo fighters Jasmine Barrows, Richard Stone and Akeem Lawrence are all excited for the return of the Jamaica Taekwondo Association Invitational Championships at the Alfred Sangsha Auditorium, University of Technology on March 8. The post-COVID-19 return of the championship will see competitors from over 25 martial arts schools contest in patterns, forms, sparring, power, and technical breaking. Burrows is a 4th degree black belt.
I am very excited, not only for my competition, but just for the overall tournament itself. It is proving to be something where the competition level is really high, given the diversity. It is our first tournament that the Jamaica Taekwondo Association is hosting in, I think, 5 years, as you rightfully said, before COVID. So open, meaning that it's not just close to Taekwondo participants, but martial arts across the board. So the level of diversity is definitely higher, so the competition is anticipated to be much higher. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Lawrence explains the difference between power breaking and technical breaking.
I'll be doing the sparring, the pattern, and the technical break. Power breaking is where you stack the boards, where it's more volume, while the technical break is more flying. It's a bit more fancy. It's jumping and spinning and all that.
And Stone will be fighting in the heavyweight division.
Seeing as how we've been at this forefront many times before, our mental fortitude is definitely there. It's been a resurgence, and so many people are gunning for us, some of us that they see at the top. So everybody will be coming, trying to take the top spot. So physically, yes, we're ready. Mentally, we're just to keep calm and keep cool, and just know that we're going to go out there and do our best, and may the best person win.
Richard Stone, I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:22.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
28 degrees Celsius in City Kingston and 28 in Montego Bay.
Fall in love with a new Mazda. From now until March 31, drive away an elegant CX-60, a majestic CX-90, or a nimble CX-5 and get a 2-year service package, 1 year free insurance, free license and registration, plus free window tinting. Conditions apply. Give in to temptation. Visit Executive Motors today. Mazda. Love at first drive.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Need to speak with an officer from the National Land Agency's Land Titles Division? The NLA's QME Flex appointment system allows you to consult with an officer from the Land Titles Division online or over the phone from the comfort of your home or office. Book your appointment today at nla.gov.jm. For more information, call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
For women standing tall and strong, Sagicor celebrates International Women's Day all month long. For her day, her deals. 7,500 bonus points on new Sagicor Bank credit cards. Special rates on auto loans and mortgages. Discounted trading fees from Sagicor Investments. A free dash cam or tire inflator with Ultimate Woman Auto Insurance from Advantage General Insurance. Plus, tailored products like our Sagicor Life Total Woman Life Insurance Plan. Accelerate action towards financial empowerment. Call 888 Sagicor. Conditions apply.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, special good evening to our YouTubers. Feel free to weigh in live on today's Public Opinion. We have a doozy for you folks. Let's get into it. In the month of February this year, a total of 47 murders were recorded, and this is the lowest on record since 2000, with only one murder in St. James, St. Elizabeth, and in Hanover, while 0 were recorded in Trelawney. Speaking recently in Clarendon, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang noted that the JCF has been making headway in restoring law and order across the country. Dr. Chang pointed to the continued decline in the murder rate as evidence of the government's investment in the force. So just to be a bit more detailed with you guys, so far this year, Clarendon has recorded 5 murders compared to 11 for the same period last year. If you go out west to Westmoreland, the JCF recorded 8 murders compared to 11 last year. St. James, 7. Yeah, this year, this is compared to 26 for the same period last year. And yeah, in February, in the month of February, only 1 homicide was recorded in St. James. So that's 7 murders in St. James so far this year, but in the month of February, only 1. Therefore, in light of this historic low, we are asking you, the public, what is your reaction to 47 murders being recorded in the month of February of 2025? This is the lowest monthly tally since 2000. Let's take a look at what we got on the social media platforms. I will start with Instagram. And if I go over to Instagram, I will see how many comments here. I'm going to see 6. Let's take a look at all 6 of them. Will Ryan Wilson says, for our population size, that's way too many murders for 1 month alone. Okay. And does he have a reply? Oh, Wayne Tipsy Campbell replied to Will Ryan Wilson saying, while I agree with you, this is still a big improvement. Chrissy Let Go Frozen says, well done to the government for providing resources and well done JCF for executing the plan. Wevon Senchoy says, this is great news. Pray that it will be maintained and reduced even further thanks to the JCF and the government. Sweet Bundy 9 says, and just puts out a heart, fair enough. And Boss Lady 3873 says it proves the government and the security forces are at work. No capping and yapping, the government is strong and active. So that's what we have over on Instagram. But if we go over to X, we will see how many. We asked the folks over on X, what's your reaction to 47 murders being recorded in February? The lowest tally since 2000. Let's see what there is to see. So if we go over on X, One Don Lexi says, wow, great numbers. Can't wait to start feeling the effects. Denise McKenzie says, this is very good news. God's official general says, crime plan fully active. Same plan the scums never existed. Willow 1986 says, that's absolutely wonderful. That just shows the great work that is being done by the minister and commissioner. All right. So if we go over to Facebook, it's going to be the last platform we check before we get into the YouTubers and see what they're thinking about this low murder tally. So if we go down if we go down and scroll through Facebook, we will see 44 comments on Facebook. Starting with Albert Morgan, who says the police are getting good intelligence. Thanks for your hard work that is paying off. Fabian Smith says the state is working, the government is working. Andrew Edwards says, I have faith and hope. The Prime Minister just need more time and more right to place into position. Okay. Ava McKenzie says, I'm enjoying the reductions. Keep it going, JCF and JDF. Kyan says, JCF working, keep it up. We want help for the citizens too. Winston says, that's good news. Kudos to the JCF, JDF, and good government at work. Philip Kidd says, thanks to God and the good men and women of the security force. Jacqueline Lindo said, should be ashamed of yourself asking stupid questions. Oh dear. Oh. Denton Smith says it means the government's judge or maker policy is working and that the violence producers are living in fear. Christopher Isaac says it's comparatively reduced but still too much. Yeah. Isaac Morrison says 47 too much, however a step in the right direction. Natalie Winter says incredible, good job, keep up the amazing work. Rodney Williams says, the real figure should be 0. Thou shalt not kill don't mean anything to most Jamaicans. There's a day of reckoning coming. Don't worry. Anthony Sheikh says, kudos to all who are involved. Excellent job. Hope it continues. Malvia Christie says, not bad. We need to continue the downward trend. And Edney Powell says, work is going on after all these years. I hope they don't ease up. Shirley Brown says, it's a good reduction, but still too high. And we keep going. Carlington. What else can I read here? Denzel Myers says the government and police are doing an excellent job. Mark Ranger, a step in the right direction, he says. Dorothy Buchanan says 47 is too many. This is nothing to be proud of. Michelle Bernard says 47 is too much. Eunice Anderson says good news. Wesley Cunningham JP says this is the result of a good crime plan. The result of a good crime plan is working. Ricardo Evans says we need to get it even lower. Darian Scott says still high but good work JCF. And lastly, David Blessed says great job as we are about to reap the harvest from the government. Hard work to dismantle gangs, criminals despite their many fights. All right. So let's see what the YouTubers are saying so we can get to the business report and skedaddle. So if we look in the YouTube chat, Family Tab says, good job, JCF. Good job, JCF. We keep going through. MDL says, salute to the JCF and Dr. Chang. Keep it going. Oswald Miller says, the minister is a cool operator. We keep going through. How many can we find? Nice Times says, the best thing that is happening now. What else do we have here? Mikkel says, a step in the right direction, JCF. Ronald Grant says, it's a result of good governance. Patrick Williams says, keep it up, JCF. Good job. Don't let it get away. Yeah, keep it up the same way. We keep going. Leroy says, good night, Mahiri. Hi, Leroy. What's cracking? Dre Views says, I am really happy for St. James. That was once called the murderous parish of Jamaica. Congrats to the JCF. That's what caught me off guard, you know. As you say that, Dre Views. One murder in St. James for an entire month. That's the one that really caught me off guard. No, that's something I didn't think I'd hear in ever. You know, there's always the notion that St. James is the murderous parish, but one murder in 1 month is very good looking on paper. But there are a couple of people in the comments saying that 47 is still too much and we need to get it even lower for the next period. What else do we have here? Herman says St. Mary are going bad with crime. Orinthia Campbell says good news. Good news. Godfrey Smith says to God be praise. Well done. And lastly, we got Linda Ming saying we can't drop the 0 overnight. Salute to the JCF and the government, Mahiri, says Marjorie G. All right, folks, I'm getting to hurry up, so we're going to end it right now. Thank you, as always, for tuning into Public Opinion. It's time for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It is 6:33.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is...
It is 28 degrees Celsius in both Kingston and Montego Bay. Good evening, welcome to the Business Report here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The BBC is reporting that U.S. prosecutors have charged 12 Chinese nationals for being part of an alleged hacking scheme which sold data of the U.S.-based dissidents to the Chinese government. According to the Justice Department, the state-sponsored operation also targeted government agencies, including the Treasury. The statement added that hackers also allegedly targeted an American religious organization and a newspaper in Hong Kong. China has not responded to these specific allegations but have strongly denied accusations in the past. In December, the Treasury Department reported a major breach by Chinese-sponsored hackers, saying they were able to access employee workstations and some unclassified documents. U.S. President Donald Trump said he would temporarily spare car makers from a new 25% import tax imposed on Canada and Mexico just a day after the tariffs came into effect. The announcement by the White House came even as Trump continued to blast Canada for not doing enough to stop drugs from entering the U.S. Nothing has convinced me that it has stopped, Trump wrote on social media after a phone call with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau about the economic disruption caused by new trade tariffs. News of the relief helped to boost U.S. shares, which closed higher after 2 days of declines that had wiped out gains in the S&P 500 had seen since the presidential election in November. The tariff exemption is for cars made in North America that comply with the continent's existing free trade agreement. That deal, which was negotiated by Trump during his first term, sets out rules for how much of a car must be made in each country to qualify for duty-free treatment. And off to the currency markets, it costs 157 Jamaican dollars and 86 cents to buy $1 US. It costs 198 Jamaican dollars and 14 cents to buy the British pound, and it costs 108 Jamaican dollars and 57 cents to buy $1 Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Stay tuned for the nation's business.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minute with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see what we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left feet. It's a big Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC Big T. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The National Land Agency assists landowners to register their land under the Systematic Land Registration Program. Systematic Land Registration is the orderly and methodical way of registering land within a designated project area. For more info on whether your community is covered under the Systematic Land Registration Program, visit nla.gov.jm for a list of all the declared project areas or call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal. To serve you better.
For women standing tall and strong, Sagicor celebrates International Women's Day all month long. For her day, her deals. 7,500 bonus points on new Sagicor Bank credit cards. Special rates on auto loans and mortgages. Discounted trading fees from Sagicor Investments. A free dash cam or tire inflator with Ultimate Woman Auto Insurance from Advantage General Insurance. Plus, tailored products like our Sagicor Life Total Woman Life Insurance Plan. Accelerate action towards financial empowerment. Call 888-SAGICOR. Conditions apply.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time now for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. So, listeners, the government is not contemplating reimposing the cap on public sector wages as a percentage of the gross domestic product, GDP, despite calls from fiscal experts to do so. That's the word from Minister of Finance, Favour Williams. She was answering questions at Parliament's Standing Finance Committee meeting on Thursday. With wages and salaries already set to consume nearly 40% of the country's revenue by next fiscal year, former chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, and that's Keith Duncan, called for a cap to be reimposed.
He fears if left unchecked, the public sector wage bill will crowd out other critical government spending.
Wages and salaries are already high and consuming approximately 45% of tax revenues, wages and salaries. 40% of total revenues, right? So 12.8% of GDP and 45% of tax revenues are wages and salaries to the public sector. So this is something that we really need to pay close attention to, and we really need to look at this to see how we're able to manage and control and set targets for ourselves here as a country going forward.
A cap of 9% of GDP was previously imposed as part of the country's economic reform program. It was abandoned years after having met the target in only one quarter.
Government wages now stand at 13.3% of GDP. Answering questions from her opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson, Finance Minister Fayval Williams says the government is not contemplating its reimposition.
Up to 2 years ago, we had a cap, well, it may be more than two, maybe 3 budget cycles ago. We lifted the cap, which was originally at 9%, and we had the compensation review. Is the government contemplating reimposing a cap in terms of the wage to GDP?
All right, member, to answer your question specifically, it is not contemplated at this time.
Okay. All right, I'm going to shift focus to your revenue projections, and I'm looking at the revenue estimates. On page 2, you contemplate an increase in income tax for individuals for the 25-26 year of $32 billion. When I calculate that as a percentage of what you would have done in 24-25, we're talking about close to a 25% increase, maybe more actually. My question would be, what would account for such a large projection in the increase in personal income tax? It's certainly above your growth rate. And are there settlements or programmed wage adjustments that are expected in 25-26 that would account for such a large increase in personal income tax for individuals?
Okay, so member, I think you're comparing against the original budget, but you really should be comparing against what was put forward in the third supplementary estimate. And when you do that, it turns out to be about 9.4%.
Okay, so the figure I should be comparing with is the 145 billion. So you're saying your movement from 145 to 170. Are you estimating 170 for the next fiscal year? That's about 25 billion more, 25 over 145, that's 16%. So, I mean, you're somewhere in about 16%. Again, above your growth rate. So you believe that this is doable given your own projected growth rate?
No, I understand it's about a 9.
That's why I asked you to direct me, because I look on PAYE and I see 145.
And other individuals, you have to add those two numbers.
Oh, okay.
145.6 and the 30.
So it would be 145 plus 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 154. So.
Oh, sorry, 9.87.
Sorry, repeat?
No, I said 145.6 plus 9.
0.8, which gives you, all right, call it 10, 155. So, okay, so 15, all right, 10%, all right. So there's no anticipation then of any outside the norm public sector wage adjustment then. So the 10% roughly that you're projecting in personal income tax, you anticipate to get that from the normal growth in the economy. There's no anticipation of a wage adjustment that would take account of this or any outstanding salaries emoluments due to public sector workers.
Right, so the expectations with regards to any movement in wages would have been incorporated in those numbers.
So it is incorporated into those numbers?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Favour Williams there, the finance minister, being questioned by her opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson. You were hearing exchanges from Parliament's Standing Finance Committee, of course, that committee of the whole House of Representatives that considers the estimates of expenditure. The budget debate will begin next Tuesday when the minister opens the debate. We take a break, come back with more.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
6:48.
For women standing tall and strong, Sagicor celebrates International Women's Day all month long. For her day, her deals. 7,500 bonus points on new Sagicor Bank credit cards. Special rates on auto loans and mortgages. Discounted trading fees from Sagicor Investments. A free dash cam or tire inflator with Ultimate Woman Auto Insurance from Advantage General Insurance. Plus, tailored products like our Sagicor Life Total Woman Life Insurance Plan. Accelerate action towards financial empowerment. Call 888 Sagicor. Conditions apply.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Thank you so much for staying with us, playing for you excerpts of the exchanges in the Parliament today between the Finance Minister and her opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson. So, Mr. Robinson asked the Minister what was the government's plan for dealing with the country's debt reduction.
Member Robinson?
Thank you. The most significant feature of this budget is the significant reduction in debt payment, about $340 billion. The amortization is down almost 50%, $162 billion, and the interest. The question I have for you in relation to amortization, is the reduction primarily around an issue of the timing of maturity of debt versus an overall reduction? Because when I look at the overall debt number, the overall debt number has actually increased at a nominal level. So is the significant reduction in amortization primarily due to timing of maturities that have not become due for payment in this fiscal year coming?
The answer is yes. There's less in terms of debt that's coming due in this upcoming
So if I
fiscal
extrapolate, I would assume then going forward, this reduction, which I think everybody is happy about, but we would not enjoy this type of reduction in amortization going forward based on the timing of the repayment of the maturities.
Member, if you look at the recurrent page 2 on the public debt amortization, you will see the projection for the next 3 years beyond the 2025-26 budget year. For example, fiscal 2026-27, that will be $174 billion. 27-28 will be $220.6 billion, and 28-29 that will be $309.8 billion in amortization.
So it's going back up, right? In relation to the reduction in interest expense on the debt, is that primarily driven by a reduction in interest rates that have contributed to that? It's marginal. I mean, over last year it's only about 3%. So is that we're benefiting from the global reduction in interest rates?
Right. So yes, the reduction in interest rates would have accounted for some of that.
And that would be more heavily weighted to the international component of the debt versus the local component of the debt, because we haven't seen much movement on the local side.
Domestic.
Huh?
Domestic, local.
You are saying it is more domestic than
more
international?
weighted towards the domestic debt than international.
You're seeing more of a reduction on the domestic side than on the international side?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, I have some more questions for you, Minister. In relation to could you tell me what the wage to GDP ratio is for the 25-26 year?
Sure. That number you would find in the fiscal policy paper for fiscal year 2025-26. And I would refer you to, the number is 13.3, but I was just trying to refer you to the page. All right, if you look at part 3, page 25, under wages, you'll see 13.3.
In the meantime, Mr. Robinson inquired about the status of the country's fiscal commission. The commission is the body intended to monitor the government's adherence to fiscal rules. It has replaced the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, which served at the onset of Jamaica's economic reform program in 2012. And a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Courtney Williams, was sworn in on March 3, 2023, as Jamaica's first fiscal commissioner.
The area that I want to ask questions on relate to the Independent Fiscal Commission, primarily because it's a new commission which just formally, I think, formally started January, even though I know the commissioner has been engaged before. So my question is, to what extent has the commission been able to recruit staff? If you could give an idea of, if the complement is, I don't know, assuming 30, how many persons have been recruited to date? I know there was an issue related to the compensation for the fiscal commissioner himself, if that issue has been resolved, because I don't want to be too personal, but he was in the service as a permanent secretary, shifted over. So one, if that has been resolved, and then the extent to which he has been able to recruit staff so that the work of the commission can actually get going.
So, member, the fiscal commission has started. It has come into being starting January 1, 2025. I know that they have recruited staff, primarily the higher levels, more technical persons, and that they will continue to fill out the positions that are there. They've already generated their report, which I understand was sent to Parliament. In terms of the question for compensation for the fiscal commissioner, my understanding is that that has been settled.
Favour Williams there, the finance minister, responding to her opposition counterpart, Julian Robinson. Also happening at the Standing Finance Committee today, the MP for South West St. Catherine, Everald Warmington, again demanded a performance audit of the Integrity Commission. Mr. Warmington says his unwillingness to support further funding, or rather he stated his unwillingness to support further funding for the Commission without that audit.
The other question has to do with the Integrity Commission. I requested earlier in the House that an audit report be presented in this House before any more funds be allocated to that department. I was taken to task by the chairman of the commission, and what they present is a financial statement of the IC's financial transaction. What I demand is a full compliance value for money audit of the Integrity Commission to audit and examine its management and administrative control, security controls and information technology control, external and internal control, human resources practices, policies and procedures, and oversight procedure of the Integrity Commission. A financial statement audit and a value for money audit differ in their objective, focus, and approach. is completely different from financial statement. I see that this year the amount to the Integrity Commission is increased by 164 million. But yet I have not seen any auditing of that department or a financial report from the department. This year they're getting almost $2 billion, and that's taxpayer money, and there must be accountability. Just as it is required that these reports be laid in the House, I think this department also, our commission, needs to have that laid in the House. They mentioned that in their report they have financial what have you. What they have, there was just financial statement, and that's not what is required. It's required that all agency department, statute and whatever you have audited report laid in this House. And I stated then that I cannot support any more funds being made available to this commission without some accountability. And I'm maintaining my position today.
So, member, my understanding is that the IC committee, it's through the IC committee that those matters are addressed. At this moment, I do not have the information about where they are in terms of their financial audit. This is something I could inquire into, but again, my understanding is that those matters would go through the IC committee for them to interrogate and address.
Are you saying that it is being done? You say going through the committee, but what I want to know, is it being done? Preparation of this audit report to be laid in this House.
Okay, what we do know is that an audit was being pursued, and what we do know is that there have been allocations in budgets to provide for financial management and accounting services. As to exactly where that audit is, that is not information that I have at this moment.
All right, thank you.
Everett Warmington there questioning Favor Williams. You know, Sanjay,
yes.
Let me tell you something about Everett Warmington. You can say he's crass, crude, out of order. Can say all of that. But I've always maintained, in terms of his conduct as a legislator, just applying himself to the processes of parliament, the lawmaking process, he's always particularly good at it,
Yes.
Always comes across knowing the standing orders, knowing the limits of what the House can and cannot do. And I suppose that might be a consequence of just being there for a while. But even his colleagues who have been there for
I was just about to say that
they don't
know it as well as he did.
Yeah, and I appreciate that about him. Yeah, I do. I would love to see more of our legislators applying themselves. And he also shows a willingness to buck what I call the sacred cows in society. Those institutions that nobody questions. He always, on behalf of the Jamaican people, tries to get some amount of accountability. I, for one, appreciate that.
Yes, it's very important, Ricardo. And I would really love to see other legislators emulate that part of Everett Warmington because it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think that we have a wrong perception of what a member of parliament should do.
Yes.
The focus is not only on the constituency, and I don't even think MPs should be even focusing on social services. We have institutions that are established to do that. They are to focus on legislation and represent the people in the specific constituency. And I will say that Everett Warmington is doing just that.
Yeah, absolutely. He tries. He tries to do the proper oversight that the parliament is intended to. And by the way, he holds the government, his own colleagues to task. He takes them to task. He questions and he probes. And I appreciate that. Something, as you said, that part of him at least, his colleagues can emulate.
We have to be very specific.
Yes, that part. All right, it's 2 minutes after 7. We're going to take a break. And after the break, it'll be time for your calls. The numbers, you know them. 630-937-124, 618-8255. I'd love to hear what you all are expecting come the budget debate. It's going to... I am anticipating it, especially when the finance minister opens the debate next Tuesday. The first female finance minister. But also, I'm expecting that this is now going to be the time when, perhaps finally, the opposition really outlines in very clear terms how they are going to be different. I think this is going to be one of the last big stages for that, outside of perhaps the mass rallies and the election debates that are to come. But so I'm looking forward to this budget debate.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
3 minutes after 7.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Do you need a copy of your property title? Visit eLand Jamaica to get quick access to land-related information anytime, anywhere in the world. You can also access our free integrated map from the comfort of your home or office without having to visit us. All you need is internet access and your credit card to access eLand Jamaica at nla.gov.jm or call the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 for more information. eLand Jamaica, your guide to Jamaica's land information anywhere, anytime.
Nationwide 90 FM, the station for the very latest in news and current affairs, will broadcast live the opening budget presentation by the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honourable Favour Williams. On Tuesday, March 11, the Honourable Favour Williams will put forward the government's plans to finance the budget for 2025 to 2026. That's a live broadcast of Finance Minister the Honourable Favour Williams' opening budget presentation, Tuesday, March 11 from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Due to this live broadcast, the E-Zone will not be aired on Tuesday, March 11.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Celebrate World Energy Efficiency Day with Nationwide 90 FM on March 6 and 7. Join us as we explore simple ways to save energy, reduce costs, and protect our planet during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6. Then Nationwide this morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7. We've got insights and practical advice that can and will help you make a difference. From businesses to households, everyone plays a part in building a sustainable future. When you save money on your energy bill, you also save the planet. Save money, save power, save the future. That's World Energy Efficiency Day during the E-Zone 3 to 5 p.m. on March 6th, then Nationwide this morning from 6 to 9 a.m. on March 7th. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Brought to you by the National Land Agency, the Jamaica Public Service, and Power Grid Electrical Limited.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. My name is Sanjay Lewis. My co-host is Ricardo Brooks. Before we go to the phone lines, Ricardo, I want to comment on what you just indicated regarding the opposition.
Yes.
Because I would really hope that they would use that platform when the entire country is looking on to state to the country what exactly they will do if they form government, because they have this nonsensical argument that they are keeping the information close to their chest because they don't want the government to steal their ideas. And largely what we have been seeing from the opposition is that they have been campaigning generally on the misery index. And I remember, Ricardo, we had a private conversation regarding that, because many of the things that they have been campaigning on, the government is addressing.
Yes.
So now it is time for the opposition to say, if we form government, this is what we plan to do. I hope they will use that opportunity, as you indicated, in the next coming weeks to do so.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be particularly important for Julian Robinson to do that, because I think if you ask anybody or any reasonable person, what would you most associate as the success of the Holness administration, they're going to point to the economy. Yeah, they're going to point to the low unemployment rate. They're going to point to the fact that our reserves are so strong. They're going to point to the fact that the dollar has been stable. They're going to, those are the things that probably readily come to mind. Over the last few months now, the crime situation is sort of coming into perspective in terms of the results. But I think most people would say the economy. So I think if the opposition has anything that they need to show that they can match or surpass the government on, it's definitely going to be the management of the economy. And I know they've tried to make the argument that, yes, it started with us under Dr. Peter Phillips. And I am not prepared to take that away from them. But certainly, post Dr. Phillips, over the last 9 years, I was thinking to myself, my God, a lot of people who are probably 10 years old when Holness took office, they're going to be voting for the first time.
Now I feel old.
It's true. They're going to be voting for the first time. And so that might be their experience, that this has been a government that has managed the economy properly. So I think that's one area where Julian Robinson is going to have to create some daylight.
But, one of the things that the opposition was, I remember last year, Julian Robinson was saying that the government is focusing on the macro policies and not focusing on the bread and butter issues, the roads that needs to be fixed and individuals in the different communities needing assistance. And we realize that the government has stepped up on that. So now I'm wondering, as you indicated, Ricardo, what is it that the opposition is going to hit back on as it relates to the economy and the government?
Yeah, it's to be seen. The minister speaks Tuesday. Julian Robinson responds next Thursday. 10 minutes after 7. Faithful, good evening.
Good evening, Faithful.
Yeah, good evening, Good evening, Sanjay. How are you all doing?
Doing well.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm just asking a question. Does United States ever win a war on their own without their partner?
Ask the question again. Have they ever what?
No.
Right.
Oh, I didn't hear the question. Okay.
No, he was asking if the United States, they have ever won a war without the supporting partners.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it bothered me to see the way Trump is behaving. He tried to bully those who he need most.
Yes.
And those are the person he tried to destroy.
Faithful, not to cut you, but I think that's one of the reasons he is holding back on that tariff. He's trying to use a big stick approach, recognizing that, look, if he decides to impose that tariff, and I'm happy that Canada responded quickly to say, if you do that, we are going to respond heavily. And I think his advisors are telling him, sir, do not do it because the United States will be in trouble if you go ahead. And we just saw news after 5 where he has decided again to hold back on that 25% tariff that he is imposing on Canada and Mexico.
But to me, he's proven himself to be a weak link. Because the weak man keep going back and forth and the thing that he say going to do.
Doesn't look that way. I'm sure he doesn't think that, though.
It's not what he thinks. It's what it's for. It's what it's for. Think of him. For the first time, when he was in power before, he put tariff on China. No China. Did you hear the response of China? People not so much afraid of him anymore,
Yeah.
And I think the people that he need most is the European who always be with him. Australia, New Zealand, Japan. And those are the persons that I get the closest person to him, you know, is England and Canada. Is this guy really marking on it?
You know, Faithful, which is that speech by the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he was spot on. Why is it that you would want to fight a country like Canada, which is supposed to be one of your closest ally? It's just beyond me. But I think that Trump has this mentality that, look, America is the greatest and we can do everything on our own and everyone must bow down to us.
But
that's the problem.
He's saying that he doesn't want war. Why China is been up his war, and I put it to you. Did you hear the statement that China make and say he's not afraid of America, neither by tariff. If he carry war he wants, he's ready. If it's any kind of war he wants, he's ready. And I put it to you, if America go to China with war, America not going to win.
No, they won't.
America best chance to win a war with China is with his European partner and he named above, which I call out. And he's behaving this way. Sometimes I wonder if America is thinking, and if they are thinking, the thing that America need to focus on, you know, if I think the person that benefit more from America is China more than any other country. So it's a time when they need to make mend fence with Canada, and European Union. Canada, Mexico, and Mexico going to go war with them.
Yeah, but remember, you know, there's quite a bit that the United States buy from China. So that's why China, in a sense, stated that, look, bring on the war. If you want to bring a trade war, bring it on, but let's see who's going to win.
And they're not going to win neither in trade war,
absolutely not,
or physical war.
Not
the
absolutely.
The best chance of winning both in trade war and physical war is with the European Union and Canada. That's the best bet.
And I don't think they would win Canada either, because the U.S., you know, there's quite a bit that they import from Canada.
Anyway, American problem is American problem, but it seems so idiotic. Anyway, because you asked a question a while ago that you want the opposition leader to relate what they're going to do. You see, if they win the election, all this question they're asking, it's not going to make any difference, you know. If you take a leave out of America election that just gone by, maybe most of us would say that Kamala have a better promise for the American people. But as long as they win the election, everything disappears. The important thing is to win the election, and then you can prove every other thing wrong. Hello?
Yeah, no, I listen to you.
Yeah, well, that's the point I was making. That's the question I was making.
Okay, so have to win to show what you can do.
Yes. Because important is to win, you know. You can't say the most idiotic thing, you can't say the most stupid thing, but as long as you can cross the finish line, that is what matters most.
Yeah.
And if they feel that their strategy is to ball and corruption, all the government is corrupt, and play up on the, as one would say, misery index. And if they feel that can get over the line, and they can use that to get over the line, and they get over the line, all this thing of talking about is going to become to naught.
I don't think.
What is important?
I don't think, though, you know, I don't think we should readily dismiss that.
No, I'm not saying to dismiss that.
No, meaning, no, man, meaning the misery index getting people over the line. Because, you know, it's been proven time and time again that people are more riled up than that which affects them negatively than they are sometimes that which affects them positively. So we should be careful not to dismiss the misery index and just say, you know, you can't win on that. Political parties have won on that before.
But I'm saying that's what the PNP is using.
But I think, though, Ricardo, in this current dispensation and what we're seeing, where the government is addressing many of the things that were highlighted in several polls, I don't think that they can necessarily hinge on the misery index to bring them across the line at this particular time. So it could change because, as you know, a day in politics is a very long time. But if the election is called now, I don't think that they could campaign on that at all.
Yeah.
I tell you what I think going to matter most is what the MPs doing in their constituency and the local level. That we can say,
all politics is local.
All So we have the MP is reaching out and touch the grassroots level. That's what going to win the election. So we can look at the amount of posts that Chang have to feel and don't feel it, and everything system like in Ardisha constituency. Those things for a long time, and I'm told that the PMP caretaker is doing a very good job. I think
Faithful, they're cussing us, so we're taking too long. I want to take another caller, but thank you. All right. Yes.
Delroy, good evening.
Delroy, good evening.
Delroy,
turn off the radio in the background. Or the computer if you're using one.
No, not hearing Delroy.
Okay.
Delroy?
Hello?
Yes, Delroy. Delroy, you're listening to the radio. You have to turn off the radio. All right, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Please turn off the radio when you call. I thought everybody knew that by now.
Yeah.
Carl, good evening. Carl? No, not hearing call. 630-937-124, 618-8255. It's going to be interesting, Sanjay, because, as you said, the government is credibly addressing a lot of the issues that were fueling the increase in misery.
Yes.
And so I'm, as I said, I've said it before, I'm looking forward to this election. I think it's going to be an election like no other.
Interesting.
And I think both political parties, they have everything to fight for.
Of course.
One for its third term, unprecedented. The other has never been in opposition for 3 terms. So I think they're both going to take it to the mat.
They have to, Ricardo, because remember, this is the first time Mark Golden will be at the wicket. And I promise you, if he loses that election, we're going to see an internal squabble coming out in the public vote.
But I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself and talk about what will happen after, because we don't know what will happen. But that question about the internal struggle that would happen, my understanding is that the so-called risers, if that were to be the outcome, that the so-called risers have a pretty strong handle on the delegates list of the People's National Party. And so any challenge that is mounted, that person will have a hard time.
I don't think it will rise to a challenge because, as you indicated, one of the things that the PNP did when Peter Bunting lost that leadership race is that they went back to the drawing board, and you see all those groups that they created, they were ensuring that they secure another election. So I don't think it will rise to that, Ricardo, but certainly we will hear individuals coming out and they will speak, because now everyone is quiet. They're lining up behind Mark Golding because they see there is an opportunity that they can win.
And
similarly,
on the JLP side,
I was just about to say, but go ahead.
Since we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, what do you think would happen if that were the outcome and the Labour Party was booted from office?
I think also cracks will now begin to show in the JLP. Let us remember, Ricardo, a couple months before the JLP won that election, the member of parliament on the members of parliament on the JLP side.
Oh yes,
they had written a letter, that famous letter,
at Belmont Road,
to get rid of Andrew Holness as leader of the opposition.
Yeah. And it's funny because current members of the cabinet, senior ministers, were at the fore of that. I reminded myself, and it's amazing how politics works, and I reminded myself the other day of that famous or infamous undated letter saga. And I recall when the Court of Appeal made its ruling, how many of the current cabinet ministers were telling Andrew Holness, "You're done, wrap it up." So
all is at stake, Ricardo, for both sides, because the JLP, they need to win that third term. It will be the first time in history. And Mark Golding need to prove himself that he can bring the PNP across that line.
Yeah. Delroy?
Yes, good night. I'm right here now.
How are you?
Yes, good night.
Good, man. Good. Yes, Ricardo, I want to ask a question. Yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
Who do we have as opposition the Speaker and Finance?
Julian Robinson.
Okay, who do we have at Agriculture?
Dayton Campbell.
Dayton Campbell.
Oh, but I listened last week. I hear Angela Robinson started to speak on Agriculture last week.
Remember, Dayton doesn't have a seat in the House, So, I suppose if a matter related to agriculture comes up, somebody would have to take it.
Yes.
No, but he talking about what he gonna do. He gonna do if they win. So it's one time I hear Dayton Campbell, then next time I hear Mark Golding, I hear Julian Robinson. So I don't know which of them.
Well, the official spokesman is Dayton Campbell.
Okay, good. Next, I hear Mark Golding saying that what they when them have they have Anderson. Them put out a poll. And I mean the Jamaica Labour Party buy out all the media them. So they put out the finding of the poll on a Saturday when things not sell when Gleaner don't sell on a Saturday. but at the same time, Mark Golding failed to remember that his integrity thing that they put out on a Sunday when the Jamaica Labour Party got into conference. You forget that?
But that not have nothing to do with the media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say, if Integrity Commission can put out the finding of Mark Golding thing on a Sunday, which is more popular between Sunday and Saturday when things sell? Which day?
The Sunday is the highest rotation day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sunday. Yeah, because Saturday the place still open on Saturday, you can't sell and things like that. So I don't understand what you're trying to say.
No man, this Saturday is the lowest day for rotation and sales for the newspaper. So his point was that it was sort of buried. That was his point. In other words, he might say nobody not gonna see it on a Saturday.
Oh, okay. Nobody wants to see it on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So just like how they put out your finding on a Sunday, they could do the sell paper on a Sunday just the same way.
Wait, who? When you say they put it out on a Sunday, who is the they?
That was Mark Golding said. The Gleaner them put out the poll finding on a Saturday, in which people don't buy Gleaner on a Saturday. It's the lowest. So I don't understand that.
So you're saying that the Gleaner did something in his favor when they published his statutory declaration on a Sunday? That's what you're saying?
Well,
because I'm not following.
Definitely. If he's saying that, I mean, them put out the finding of the poll on a Saturday, that in favor of the Jamaica Labour Party, which on a Saturday, that means that them do a favor putting his finding on a Sunday just the same way.
Well, you see, the media entities are entitled to editorial decision, and we don't know what went into play. Why the Gleaner decided to put it on the Saturday.
And whether the Integrity Commission had specifically bought the space on a Sunday to publish the thing.
You understand? Mm-hmm. I just can't understand what it must crash out, so then can't really find nothing more to really talk about. So they must crash right here.
All right. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you.
25 minutes after 7. Richie, good evening.
Yes. Good evening, sirs.
Good evening.
Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. What Mark Golding is doing, or why would you guys say Mark Golding have a chance of winning? You can't tell me because I understand, you know. You can't tell me. Because it's somebody leads 7% in the poll. That's what the banking on.
The question is what? Why does Mark Golding have a chance of winning the election?
Well, why you guys see him having a chance of winning the election?
Because it can't be 100% zero. Mm-hmm. Just by the odds, the People's National Party has to have a chance at winning.
Yeah.
Have to have a chance with what? But
no. So I get your point, you know. So you are saying.
Get my point. The JLP did a poll. They carried the PMP 6 percentage points ahead. Is you know about that?
I saw it in the Observer.
They blow that same way. Mm-hmm. And the Bill Johnson, what is him again? That poll that
Don Anderson.
Yeah, carrying 10 percentage points ahead. So, we understand.
Can I just say though, caller, that one of the things that we need to remember is that elections are won based on the party's ground game. That is one of the most important part of the election. It's not the only thing. And we also know that quite a number of Jamaicans stay home. Yeah, they don't go out and vote. So you're really depending on...
No. Stick up in. In my opinion, you see, for example, in parish council elections, a big percentage of the JLP support does not vote. And I said to Cliff, and I believe it's up to a quarter. Cliff says more than that. 3 different laborers said to me, and we know, as you guys know as well, in parish council elections, JLP supporters never general,
No,
general
but-
does not vote.
but
Why
even
why
outside
why
of-
though? Why don't they? Why?
I'm going to tell you something. I always blame it on the JLP hierarchy. I always believe that they don't make enough effort for the people to go to vote, because I can tell you, if a lady in Spanish Town, which I know, I call her one day and say, me I tell people, say, me hear me doctor on radio, and me say, you go vote, say, me is a laborer, but me not go vote. Me say, why? Say, me no vote in parish on the selector. Me say, if you don't vote, me not chat to you again, and she vote.
But Richie, that doesn't take away from my point though. Because while we understand that the local government elections typically hover over 22%, the general elections typically for the last, I would say 3 elections, or Ricardo can correct me, it's hovering 30-35%, which means that a large number of Jamaicans, they still stay home. So it goes back to my initial point that it really goes down on the day to the ground game, how the parties can get out those diehard supporters just to ensure that they will come out and vote. Which is why the PNP stands a chance.
No. Not PMP. So I'm going to tell you something. You see the elders that vote PMP, their children and grandchildren vote PMP. And you know why? Because the elders come for the Mike and the man, the hero, where they used to the handout, and all of them vote not JLP.
But that's precisely the point.
Huh?
That's precisely the point. You have
this parish council election, but when the general they be going out to vote.
Them not come out and vote in the general. That's what you say. The diehard supporters.
What diehard? I wanna listen to me. I'm saying parish council election, a big percent of them doesn't vote, but they're going to vote in general election.
So let me. Oh, by the way, so in 2011 the voter turnout was 53%, and in 2016 it was 48%. But let me say this, Richie, because the logic there don't add up. So how is it that the JLP has been able to win local government elections in the past?
Exactly.
Man, I take my go back to Shana, brother.
No. You made it. Hold on, Richie. You told Sanjay a while ago that laborites do not, that's what you said, do not vote in local parish council elections.
Not the laborites, some.
Okay, some. Okay, fine, some. But the Labour Party has won parish council elections before.
Yes.
So
yes, but here what I'm now, you could possibly happen.
Possibly.
I mean, in that time, a lot of them vote. That is what a lot of them vote. But
yes. So why didn't they vote in the last one?
Last one.
Why didn't they vote?
Yes.
It is a tendency for the JLP.
No, but I just debunked.
It's from the JLP.
No. Hold on, Richie. But I just debunked your argument about tendency. Because in the parish council election before this, the one last year, the Labour Party won.
They won.
So if there was a quote unquote tendency, they might never have won.
Listen to me now. You see at that time, they see enough in the JLP party to vote. But you see, PMP party is much more organized.
So pause. So you've tapped onto something now. So they did not see enough in last February to vote?
Last February?
They never see enough in the JLP to vote? Yes.
Yes.
That's where I said to you, a big percentage of them is there, and I always blame the hierarchy of the JLP.
No, but hold on. Yes, hold on, man. You hold on. You're all over the place. You said that they did not see, they may not have seen, you said, enough to vote. In the first one, 2016, they saw enough. In 2024, you're saying why? Why didn't they vote? Why?
To me, I always believe that the hierarchy of the JLP does not make enough effort for the PMP.
So how did they get them to win in 2016?
Yeah,
I don't know, but this one is
here is what I suggest to you.
Get the point.
I hear your point.
We hear your point.
I hear your point, but here's what I'm suggesting to you.
No, just listen to me. When I know the people, some of them who didn't vote, and I start to investigate and where everybody.
But Richie, we have already debunked that. So I would suggest you go back to the
drawing board. Let me hear that. Yeah. What did they tell you? What did the people tell you?
I said to you, I know quite a few people who did not vote in the parish council election.
And they told you why? Why didn't they vote?
Me? No, it's not that I talk with them, I'm talking to people who tell me, say, no, this
Hearsay.
one didn't vote and that one voted.
Yeah, so why didn't they vote? What was the reason given?
Why didn't they vote?
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yes.
that the hierarchy of the JLP did not make enough effort to get them to go to vote.
No, that can't be true. That hold on. That can't be true. The Prime Minister was crisscrossing. The Prime Minister was crisscrossing Jamaica in the 2-week span of that campaign. He was everywhere. Up to 2:00 in the morning. The MPs were out. I saw the councillors. There was an ad campaign on TV. Ads were in social media. What do you mean? In fact, that hold on. Let me just hold on. Okay.
But you're not, but
Hold on. See, that's a different thing, Richie.
Richie, no, Richie, hold on. No, Richie, no. We listen to you.
You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing? The young people call it coping. You're coping.
I don't care what you want to say.
I don't care what you want to say. I mean, I tell you, you cope. Your party got less votes in the local government elections, and so you're trying to cope with that by creating excuses. What you need to do is go there and do the work. Goodbye, Richie. Stop the coping.
Well, Richie, twist and turn and oh boy.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:34.
For women standing tall and strong, Sagicor celebrates International Women's Day all month long. For her day, her deals. 7,500 bonus points on new Sagicor Bank credit cards. Special rates on auto loans and mortgages. Discounted trading fees from Sagicor Investments. A free dash cam or tire inflator with Ultimate Woman Auto Insurance from Advantage General Insurance. Plus, tailored products like our Sagicor Life Total Woman Life Insurance Plan. Accelerate action towards financial empowerment. Call 888 Sagicor. Conditions apply.
You know, Sanjay, he has been on that coping campaign for months now. Months. Trying to tell himself all kinds of things about why it didn't go in the Labour Party's favor. And I think that is how you get complacent. When you refuse to heed the lessons and better your best. Right?
And it's funny, Ricardo, because you have debunked the point that he raised about the hierarchy not being out and taking it seriously.
I don't know what he's talking about. In fact, that election in February 2024 was the most general election like local government that I have ever seen.
Mark Golding made it a referendum on the government, and remember the Prime Minister spoke about when he touched the road. You remember that comment?
It was significantly high in the interest.
Of course.
Advertising, the crisscrossing the country. No, man. And to the Prime Minister's credit, he fought like hell.
Yes.
He really did. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the morning, 2:00. Andrew Holness is live in some far-flung place in a St. Mary or Trelawney or whatever. He fought like hell. If Richie came here and said to me he didn't think the others pulled enough weight in
MPs,
assisting the Prime Minister, I would say, okay, I could accept that.
I would
that's
agree
a point.
with that, actually.
Because he seemed to be really the one really gunning. But I don't accept that argument from Richie about there's a tendency not to vote. No, sir. Anthony?
Anthony?
Hello?
Anthony?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Come on. Mr. Golden time now.
Are you on speaker? You on speaker?
Yes, we're hardly hearing you.
I speak a long time.
All right, go on. Let's.
Mr. Golden time now.
Are you having a headset? Hold on. You having a headset?
My kitchen is a hell of a place, you know.
Oh, your kitchen big.
Come out, right?
Kitchen big and echoey.
All right. Come out, I say now.
Yeah, man, much better.
Me would not want to know what him a can tell we say him a go do different from what the JLP they do, or when they go do better. Me want to hear, you know, when they go do different, or when go do better. Because right now, me can't see. We have the biggest, what you call it, National Reserve right now. We have the lowest unemployment. And we can go on and on and on.
When him a come tell we say I go do now. More want to know. We not supposed to have enough, have contact with him, So we're not supposed to can talk to him and find out.
No, I can't talk to Mr. Golding. I have to watch and see.
Me not take the one that you can tell me, so nobody can talk to Trump. No, I don't believe that.
I don't speak for Mr. Golding. As I said, we'll be watching carefully to hear.
Because, let me tell you something. Me see this government here, if we hold him, they operate in this country. We see it's a personal country. But I tell you, look on the amount of roads where they fix. Look at in Montego Bay, a nice, pretty highway where I get the bypass in Montego Bay. Look on it. If you ever see it, if you can take a drive down the man and look on the type of bridge where them build down there, Chinese man them build. Nice thing, man. Come look, man. If I get to a company going outside, OB, and come broadcast on there. Nice. Come look. Because me no know about going in a tell me say, him and Julia Robertson. I say me Robertson.
Robinson.
But
right. Me no know about tell me say.
Remember though, caller, and I said it earlier, that the ground game, especially on the day of the election, the pre-planning, and also on the day of the election, getting your voters out, that is going to be very important in all these different constituencies. And I think heavily both political parties, well, they normally focus on that, but that is going to decide who wins the election.
Hey, me say the Jamaica Labour Party, they win back all of the seats they have.
Oh,
me see them win back everything.
I would not agree with that one at all.
At the same time, too, me see them take more from the PMD.
I don't see the JLP retaining all those seats. I don't.
You don't see what? You don't see what
I don't see the JLP retaining all the seats that they currently have. No.
You know the Bible, right? Without vision, the people shall perish. You're not a vision, man.
No, but I'm not a spokesperson for any political parties.
I would be more than a little surprised.
Yeah,
if the JLP wins 4 seats. If the JLP wins 49 seats.
Me go hear you this following morning on Nationwide Radio.
Yes.
Talk, yes.
I've been wrong before. I remember in 2020, I said that if and Sanjay remembers, I said if the JLP won the seats in Westmoreland, I'd wear hot pink to work. I was wrong. So I've been wrong before, but we'll see. I'd rather doubt it. Though.
Yeah.
You rather doubt it?
Yeah.
Well, don't be like Mr. Thomas. Don't be like doubting Thomas. Look at
when I put my finger into the side, I will believe. All right, Anthony. Errol, good evening.
Good evening, Errol.
Sanjay.
Yes, how you do?
I'm good. Ricardo?
Yes.
Ricardo, you know why the PMP them come so close to the local government election?
Mm-hmm.
Our MP and them, they too easy. Them relax. And members say the PMP them a campaign for them for about 2-3 years straight and everywhere over the country them there, And you see the Labour, them relax easy. And when it comes down to the last, the Prime Minister come out and as Andrea say 2 o'clock and then we're in a country and them part there campaign for them man they should do their work. You remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's Andrew come out in the last half, come run up and down all boat where them the man they sit down too easy and the PMP them a campaign 3 years ago and the all boat over the place. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they come so close. But this election, let me tell you, Westmoreland, we are kick Dayton camp back out of there. If not, go back in a Westmoreland. We have control all 3 seats of Westmoreland back. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We all get 51 seats. And we are going to take 1 out of the 14.
Which one?
Remember me tell you.
Which one?
Me not going to tell you which one.
Okay.
We're going to take 1 out of the 14.
Okay.
So you don't remember me to tell you that.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Me soon tell you. When it's announced, me tell you.
Oh. But when it's announced, you tell me. If it's announced, you need to tell me. Can make a year.
When it's called, Ricardo, I'm going
to when the election called. Okay, I get what you mean.
When it's
okay.
called. When as the Prime Minister called, me call and
tell me. Okay, all right, fine. Fair.
All right?
All right.
All right, sir.
The Liberator either really confident or absolutely delusional. 630-937-124-618-8255. Carl, good evening.
Evening, Carl. Evening, sir. Evening.
Sanjay with me
Sanjay.
tonight.
Yeah, you know, Carl.
Me know which two now winning at Kingston also.
Which two?
Joan Gardy Webley will never see back Jamaica House.
Garden House.
Garden House. And Miss Patricia Duncan Sutherland.
Yes.
Only Duncan will see back Jamaica House as Keith Duncan did go back there. Before that, me pack up me bungle from Southeast Clarendon and go help up there for me.
Well,
Keep
Carl,
out Miss Sutherland.
Carl, my information is that you may be right. My information is that the finance minister is...
oh, God, man.
I won't say comfortable, but she is eclipsing Patricia Duncan Sutherland. And I went up to West Rural the other night for an... No, I have to because for an outside broadcast. And I was very, very, I say impressed by the level of turnout. And I did not see buses.
Oh my.
I didn't see any buses because I made sure to go outside and look. Because I know how area council meeting go. You know, you're busing people from all over the area council. Quite a bit of people were there, so it seems...
Can you help if we get that documents from out of the Integrity Commission that they carry here for 6 months to investigate the Prime Minister with Pantan did have lockup? Like how Pantan is now changed. Can we write and ask for that documents to be released?
I suppose an access to information, yes, but that would be tricky because it would contain, I imagine, personal information. But we could try.
But how you see? Don't that documents which I see ask for?
No, I think the document should have been released, yes.
Yes. And the next one I want to say to you, how could you trust the British citizen, Walden, former British citizen then, that take a false news from Jamaica and take it to America that his private investor pay to carry out the poll and TVJ and RJR say, I them do the poll. And it's not the first that British citizens mislead people in this country. Not the first. But let me tell you something. And the last thing I'm going to left with you. My member of Parliament, Minister Pernell Charles Jr., Cockburn Flynn, and a couple of them, anytime Golan is speaking in the Parliament, they must not sit inside the Parliament with him.
Why?
They must not sit down and listen to no white man address the Parliament. Mr. Patterson said that. They must, Pernell, I'm going to spend, come weekend I will be seeing my minister. And I'm going to remind him that he must not go to the Parliament. Mr. Warmington must not go either. A couple of them must not go to the Parliament.
So let me see if I understand this now. So you're saying no person of Caucasian descent or heritage should be elected to the Parliament then?
Right.
Oh, is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying?
Repeat that question.
No white person should ever be elected to Jamaica's Parliament?
That's what Mr. Patterson said.
No, I'm asking you what you are saying.
No, I'm taking you there. That's what Mr. Patterson
I heard you on that, but I'm asking you what you believe. Do you agree with that?
I believe now that if Mr. Patterson could have with for 18 years telling you that.
I'm asking you what you believe. Do you support the idea that no white person should be elected?
I'm supporting the idea of what Mr. Patterson did said.
So you think Mr. Patterson was right?
Mr. Patterson wasn't right.
Then why are you supporting it?
But if you're supporting it.
Jamaica people, led by Mr. Patterson, dominated that 18 and a half years.
Yeah, no, I get all of that. We know all of that. I'm asking you
it doesn't mean that you should support it.
Do you support that comment?
West take the goat must take the white man in our Parliament. Now.
I see.
So
good evening. Good evening, Carl. Good evening. Let's take a break and come back with more.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
7:47.
Need property sales data for Jamaica? Use the National Land Agency's Jamaica Property Sales Data JAMPROP application to assist you with information regarding the transfer of registered titles, registered mortgages, as well as sale prices of properties. To register for JAMPROP, all you need is internet access. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or visit nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Michael, good evening.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to the panel and everyone. You know what I mean?
Good evening.
Hello, Michael. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. My little input on this thing here, with this politics thing going on here. You know what I mean? I'm in my 50s, soon 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of my life, going through government and prime ministers and name it, I never see a better government than this now, doing the things and make Jamaica look like Jamaica. You know what I mean? I can remember when I was a little youth, just coming to Kingston when Free Zone, and I don't know if you remember when Free Zone used to be going on, done by 3 Mile here. Free Zone?
Oh, I don't remember. I was.
I remember that.
That was probably the decade of when I was born.
And I used to work down there as a forklift, drive forklift, load the trailers.
Yes.
That is what in Siaga days when Siaga made that place. And when Siaga lose, PNP win and shut it down, raise up the taxes on the people and the Koreans. And the Koreans had to flee out. You know how many people lose job done by Free Zone? Check out the PNP. PNP don't have no shame, man. They have no shame for Jamaican people. They can't trick us no more. I can remember they closed on Free Zone and millions of people lose their work done by Free Zone because of the PNP. The PNP believe in high taxes. Tax the people. That's what the PNP believe in, high taxes. You know what I mean? I tell you something, man. If this government ever take back and win back and pull that door to Jamaica House, Jamaica crumble up, man. Jamaica mash up. Under the PNP, I couldn't survive. I couldn't send my kid to school. And under this government, I can send my kids to college under this government. I can work and I can save and I can see what I'm working for. Under the PNP government, I couldn't even buy shoes for myself. The PNP don't have no shame, man. The PNP is a disgrace to Jamaica. They must step aside and go home. They must go one side and step aside and make this government work. Because this man is working. And we can see this government is working. And we can see things happen. Things happening. Road fixing. Police station fixing up. You know, a lot of things going on. Construction booming. You know what I mean? Everything is going on right. The crime is stepping down. We don't want no change of government. We want this government to work and be a president. You know what I mean? We want this government to work and be a president, man. This man is working, man. You can see it. You can feel it in the air. What's going on?
All right. Thank you. You know, Ricardo, as you indicated, it's going to be a very interesting election because, oh boy, let's wait and see.
And it's so funny because so many people have such polarized views.
Yes.
Of that time, you know, some older folks, older comrades are passionate that, you know, it was a good time. Yeah. Certainly, they recall fondly the time of Michael Manley, and then there are others who, like that caller, wretched time. Yeah? It's so interesting. David, good evening. Sorry.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, David.
Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, David, good evening.
Yes, three quick points, you see?
Yes.
I want to congratulate Megamart because last night I went to Megamart at Waterloo Road and them open right back till after 10. And everywhere shut them shutter. Everywhere lock. And I do a little shopping at Megamart after 9 last night. I want to congratulate the person who owned that place Jamaica need more entrepreneurs like that. Because in Jamaica, everybody shut them shutter after 5. Imagine you work from 9 to 5, right? And you want to catch a place after you leave work. And when you leave work, every businessman shut them shutter after 5. Mega Mart is the best business place in Jamaica. Right? And keep them place wide open that people can come in and do business. Even on public holiday, because yesterday was a public holiday. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Jamaica will never improve if we keep on having business people who shut them business place after 5. Because all you for buy the thing in that place, and when you finish work after 5, them shutter in front of your face. Eh? What if I do? Leave your workplace lunchtime and go do the business there? That can't work. You have to go there when you finish work, don't it? Don't it?
Yes. I hear you on the point.
Yeah.
Yes, but Mega Mart don't be like that. And the next point, you see, according to this PNP and the JLP thing, I just heard a caller talk about PNP this and PNP that. Nothing no name PNP and JLP is the man behind the party. The man I talk about PJ Patterson. Mark Golding will do a different thing from PJ Patterson. It's 2 different leaders. So why him say PNP make him can't get this and then make him can't get that? It's not PNP. I bet him say PJ Patterson. Don't say PNP.
Yeah, but PJ
Mark
Patterson
Golding
at the
is
time.
not going to run the country the same way or PJ run the country.
Right,
Everybody have a different style of leadership.
I hear you, but at the same time, PJ Patterson didn't run independently. He represents the People's National Party, which
Yes,
is why
but he was
when
he was the man in charge.
Correct,
He was
but,
a big
but,
man.
Yes. So the point that I'm trying to make is individuals will speak largely about the People's National Party because that's a party.
Well, I would not do that because I will blame the man behind the party. You can't blame the knife.
So
you
let me
blame
ask
the man
you,
behind the knife.
at that time, was it PJ Patterson alone in the party?
No, but he was where the buck stopped. He was the prime minister. He was a superior leader. Mark Golding will come with different style and fashion from PJ.
Correct, but the leader,
yes,
why I agree
talk
with
about
you.
PNP, man. Talk about PJ Patterson.
No, but
and the
hold
last
on.
thing. Hello?
Because no. I want to respond to that. Because while I agree that the buck stops with the party president and ultimately the prime minister, it's not the prime minister alone that make up the cabinet, is not the party leader alone make up the party.
Yeah, but
so
Mark
generally
Golding
they will
was
come to
around
decisions. They will make decisions collectively.
The prime minister, Mark Golding, is not a front bencher them time there.
Okay.
Mark Golding have different ideas, man. And the last thing, you say, hello?
Yeah, man.
Yes, hearing you. Go ahead with the last point.
The last thing, what I don't like with this prime minister, you see, only one thing I see him do downtown Kingston. Only one thing. What him do, him build up a wall in front of the sea, beside the Minister of Foreign Affairs building. That's the only thing him do in his 9 years as a prime minister. That's the only thing him do in the capital city, Kingston, the capital city of the island. Him only do one thing downtown, build a wall in front of the sea beside the Minister of Foreign Affairs building. I will never vote for a man like that because you're not supposed to ignore the capital city of the island, Kingston City. Kingston downtown, mash up and dirty and very ugly and look very untidy, and it don't look like a 2025 city. And the owners don't do nothing downtown. And the only thing him do, the wall where him build in front of beside the Minister of Foreign Affairs building, right now, a lot of bush is growing there right now. Whole heap of bush. He's not maintaining them place.
By the way, the Prime Minister didn't do that. But let me ask you, how does downtown look different from how it looked before the Prime Minister became PM?
Well, downtown Kingston, down the waterfront there.
No, the whole capital city. You said that he has not.
No, man, downtown they look much better before you born. Because
before I born? You're going way back then. Oh, okay. I thought you were assessing Andrew Holness.
Better because I used to go to school.
But I thought you were assessing Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness has not been prime minister for 37 years.
No, coming to power, but he don't do no changes. He don't do no changes.
Okay. Do you know of the plans to build a new parliament? Do you know of the plans to redevelop parts of central Kingston?
I went to the public meeting in EO Circle every time he came there and talk, and everything just squash. Nothing no go on after.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why? Do you know why that was?
Eh?
Do you know why that was?
I don't know.
It would be helpful to find out.
Yeah. Anyway, there's nothing take place downtown Kingston, capital city, and I hope when Mark Golden win and fix up downtown city because downtown is supposed to be your baby because it's the capital city of the island.
All right. Appreciate the call. I don't know that. I don't know that downtown looks any different from it did 9 years ago, to tell the truth. And I don't know that any other government did anything anyway. But that's the politics. Dana Davey, thank you. Don't let me tell books, turn off the camera. Andrew Glenn Anderson, thank you so much. My colleagues in the newsroom, led by our editor, Cara Powell, the very best in the business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
My name is Sanjay Lewis, wishing for you a wonderful evening.
Good evening.
Nationwide.